105.5 KD Country.
State championship basketball time, Colonel basketball time again on 105.5 KD Country. I am Kyle Hoehne. With me, as usual, my partner and co-host, Agent Zero, Oscar Briggs. Oscar, really the moment we've been waiting for quite some time. The Altavista Colonels, back-to-back state championships. Going to try for a three-peat here today. Breakfast and basketball from the Siegel Center.
Yeah, you talk about breakfast from Wimbledon a lot of times in the finals. You alluded to it, looking for the three-peat. Certainly, great teams can win one championship. When you win two in a row, you enter the elite status. And when you get three, you've used the word before, that's dynasty time, Kyle.
Yeah, it's really time for the Altavista Colonels to try and cement their place in the history books as a dynasty. So much history has been made already by this ball club and by their head coach, Mike Carlero. He's making his sixth state title game appearance, of course. 2 losses in state title games, the one state championship in 2004, and then this run started in 2013, 2014. A lot of great storylines, though, in this ball game and really the entire day here at VCU. And it's not all about the Altavista Colonels. There's another team on the hardwood today, Oscar, and they are a very formidable opponent. The Honaker Tigers come in at 26-1. Good basketball club.
Very good basketball club. We got the opportunity to watch them Monday morning, and a very balanced attack. They're big inside. They're physical. They like to push the ball. Their guard play is spot on. They've got some kids that can knock down the three. They scored 90 points 4 times or more, and were over the century mark twice as well. So you can't rest on this team. They're going to push. We wondered how the strategy of what Galax did to the Colonels on Monday would enter this game. And at this point, we talked about it on the ride coming up. You do what you do. You don't change your game plan that much. You do what you do, and you do it well. And we think that's what Honaker will do today.
Yeah, caught up with head coach Mike Carlero before the game. He said similar thoughts to you, or that you did, Oscar, as well. So it'll be interesting to see. The other interesting storyline, of course, maybe you don't know, but how the Colonels got here. Had to bring it all the way down to the wire. Michi Malbach beats the horn with a 15-foot floating jump shot at the buzzer. 35-33. Colonels win over Galax. What a ball game.
Yeah, completing, not only was it a buzzer beater, but it completed a 12-0 run. Right. And interestingly enough, Galax only took 2 shots in the fourth quarter. A lot of that attributable to the defense that the Colonels put on them and just pushed them into not wanting to take the shot, limiting the possessions, and strategy might have backfired a little bit on them, but hey, you got to survive and advance, and lo and behold, that's what the Colonels have done.
Do what you got to do to get to this point. Altavista, they're at this point again for the 3rd straight season. They're trying to grab their 3rd ring in basketball. It would be the 5th one in as many years when you combine basketball and football, and there's certainly a few players on this Altavista team that you've probably heard of that are making that drive for 5 rings.
Well, and we talk about interesting angles of the game. Not only does the basketball aspect hit, but so does the football. Because this year in football, in the state semifinals, it was Altavista that knocked Honaker out of the state tournament. So a lot of these names that you'll hear tonight, or several of them anyway, from Honaker, will sound familiar to you because they were on the football field as well.
Yep, lot to talk about, lot to do, lot to see here from the Siegel Center. The fans are starting to pile in. Maybe you're listening to us on your smartphone while you're driving into the ball game. You still got about 22 minutes before tip-off. Let's hear from the head coach, Mike Carlero. Oh, and by the way, lest we forget, this is the Subway pregame show. 3 great Altavista area locations to choose from now. Main Street, Walmart on the Clarion Road, and then also in Foster Fields on Route 29, just north of town in Altavista. The Simple 6 menu is here from Subway. Value made simple every day. Choose from our best 6-inch sandwiches, a bag of chips, 21-ounce drink for just $6. That's the Simple 6 menu at Subway, and I got a feeling a Subway breakfast would go pretty good right now with this Subway pregame show, and then the tip-off, which, again, is set for 10 a.m. We'll talk about the funny start time, too, as this Subway pregame show rolls on. Let's hear from the head coach, Mike Carlero, right around the corner. It's the Honaker Tigers. It's the Altavista Colonels. It's 1A state championship basketball. You've got yourself a ringside seat on 105.5 KD Country.
My friends call me the perfectionist. But English's Building Supply, my neighborhood Glidden paint dealer, they greet me by name. You see, I like to get things exactly right, especially when it comes to my painting projects. So I'm at English's Building Supply a lot, whether it's mixing the perfect Glidden paint for my project or offering great incentives. They do business just the way I like it, perfectly. English's on North Main Street, Altavista.
Have you looked at your business banking fees lately? I'm Sean Stone with First National Bank, and we have the best business accounts which offer serious savings for your company. We have a full menu of business products from checking accounts and remote deposit capture to online banking. And we have a local merchant card representative who will customize services just for your business. So let First National Bank prepare an analysis of your current activity and show how we will reduce your banking fees. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Brother needs a pickup, sister wants a ride. Uncle needs a sports car to keep him satisfied. Mama, she wants comfort, luxury and style. And daddy, he just wants a deal that's gonna make him smile. Everybody's happy, you can hear them all say, we're glad we went to Fellas Chevrolet. Competition for all dealers in Central VA. A short drive will save you money. Fellas Chevrolet in Alta Vista.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
Subway pregame show returns here from the Siegel Center at Richmond, Virginia. Altavista basketball, last game of the season, and the Colonels, well, they're in it again. State championship time against Honaker. And my guest, as always, head coach Mike Carlero. And Coach C, before we get to the big one today, a lot to recap on Monday. A wild basketball game. You hit the buzzer beater at the end to win it. Let's start in the first half. What were you thinking there when they had you on the ropes? It wasn't looking good for a little while there in the first half, Coach.
Well, it didn't look good, and it really didn't look good through about midway through the third quarter. But, you know, our guys, we tried to prep them for Galax's style. That's how they play. That's how they eliminated Rafford, a very good team. They're very deliberate. They're methodical in their offense. They screen well. The whole key there is how well do they shoot from three, and can we hit shots? Well, it was the perfect storm against us because their two best kids were 8 for 19 from three, and we were 0 for 9. We knew they would surround the Twins. Sometimes we don't get good movement against the zone. So if you add all that up, we were in that dilemma of about getting eliminated and down 10 points. So, you know, it's kind of what we, as a coaching staff, we thought this very well could happen to us. And hats off to Galax for how they played. They're so well coached and schooled. And they got a couple good guards now. You know, Conley got my guards mixed up, can really play that game. So, you know, it's a survive in advanced mode for us. We were fortunate.
Yeah, talk us through the decision there at the end of the game. You get the ball back with about 90 seconds, and you decided to hold on to it for the last shot. Now, I know it's something you've done in the past, but I'm sure you had to kind of sit there and think about it and, you know, look at Coach Ward and one of those deals. When did you decide that, and what went into that thought process?
Well, the first thought was, let's make sure we take the last shot, and if we miss it, we go to overtime. Really fearful about if they get it, they're going to get a shot off. And the way they shot the ball, of course, the fourth quarter, they didn't get many shots off because they really stopped attacking.
Right.
But we just didn't want that to happen. If we go overtime, at least there's more possessions, and not just one possession, anything can happen. A number of possessions, maybe you have an opportunity to win. And we also, using the timeouts, we thought, well, will they extend to 2-3? Maybe. If so, we would try to hit it in the middle and go at them. Maybe would they go man? Well, they didn't do either.
Right.
They just hung and said, okay, you can take the last one. So at that point, we just said, okay, let's do it. Now, they did use their fouls, and it got us awfully far down on the clock where we could get a shot off. It got us down to 3.7. But that reminds me of 3.4 way back in 2002. So, you know, sometimes roles get reversed. That happened to us in a horrible loss at Devine Center in 2002, and you know we were fortunate. Michi's a big game shooter. You know he's going to take that shot, and ironically he didn't shoot well, but he never hesitated that he was going to take that last shot.
Yeah, Michi takes a back seat to nobody, and he always seems to rise to the occasion. He did so just there. I want to ask you about another particular play. When Montague got the 5-second call, the defensive play out front, he was about 35 or 40 feet away from the bucket, and that seemed to be huge, really seemed to energize you guys.
Yeah, defensively we really turned it up, and we had to. I mean, we were in dire straits of being eliminated. Donnie was in a position where he's not been this year, and that's really guarding the ball out front, putting ball pressure on. But we were all in that situation with the way they were running their weave and their dribble handoff. And he did a great job, and it was one of those several plays in the fourth quarter that helped change the momentum of the game and allow us to hang in there and actually get back in it.
Well, let's transition to today. A tough opponent, the Honaker Tigers. You witnessed them firsthand. They've got the size. They have the 6'8" man, Tanner Robinette. Casey Harmon is 6'5", and I don't think they really have anybody that plays that's under 6 foot. Is that the main thing that worries you, their size?
Well, we go opposites here. We go from a smaller team to a much larger team, bigger team. They, in some ways, are like us. They like to get it inside. They like to use a high-low. They got a dead shooter in a corner with Lester. Dye, the quarterback and point guard, is very savvy and way more athletic than people think. Sample's a good shooter on the wing, so they got all the parts. Their spacing on offense is great. They know how to exploit teams. And Robinette is the man. The offense goes through the big fella inside, and he's big, and that's how they play basketball. They do a nice job with what they have, and it's championship time. You're going to have to play a great game to win.
I know you have to be ready for anything, but how do you think they're going to play you? Because they've got some high scores this year. They've scored in the 90s and in the 100s a couple times. But do you think after what Galax did to you guys, they may try and slow it down? And like I said, have to be ready for both. But what's your hunch there?
This far along, it's tough to change who you are, tough to change your stripes. They're used to playing fast. They really like to leak out and let the two big guys rebound the ball. I don't think they're going to want to play a slow game. I think if there's situations in the game that dictates it, they may do that. I think they're going to come out probably and just let the game flow and see what happens. But their nature has been playing in the 80s. So I'm not sure that they're going to try to slow down like Galax. Galax is a unique team, probably more so than anybody on the schedule. I think they're going to want to run, and we've been very good in transition, so we're not going to back away from that. But I think you may have some situations within the game in which either team may be holding on to the ball.
Well, let me ask you now, talk a little bit about history, which I know you shy away from, but it's your 6th state title appearance. Each one has a different feel, doesn't it? Each one has kind of got its own unique things about it.
Absolutely. I mean, this, going all the way back to Nandua in 02, all the way through Radford last year. They all do have a different feel about them. And the teams, all the teams have been different. Ours, even though this is this group's 3rd straight year, we're a little different each year, and certainly the opponents that we've played against. So, it's a great feeling to be in it. It's a great accomplishment. Really proud of the kids. And let's face it, if we don't win, it's a huge disappointment. But not many teams can say they've been in the state finals, especially 3 years in a row. So they're all unique in their own way.
Well, have you gotten better as a coach about handling some of these scenarios just because you've been there so much, or is it still just kind of fly by the seat of your pants and it's so hectic sometimes it doesn't matter how many times you've been there?
I think coaching is like playing. Sometimes you get in a groove and things are falling into place and things are working well, and sometimes it doesn't. And whether it's the state championship game or the first game of the year way back in December, so it's probably a little bit of both. You react to what's going on, and hey, there's still kids out there. And let's face it, you watch college ball and you see the same stuff, and you see it professionally too. So you can't take out the human emotion element, the confidence factor. Some kids lose confidence easy, some do not. So as a coach, I'm not sure on that evaluation other than I hope we have pretty good chemistry going on today.
I think so. 1 or 2 more questions here with you, Coach Cartelero, then we'll get to the shout-outs as it is state championship time here on the Subway pregame show. What's the final message before you guys hit the floor, or maybe in that final huddle there right before jump ball?
Well, probably a little different before the jump ball, but the final message in the team room is it's the last game. What a career for these guys. Don't put the pressure on yourselves. They've put themselves in the history books no matter what. Either way, yes, it'd be a huge disappointment with the loss, but if you look back at the accomplishments, I've not seen anything like this, and just fortunate to be a part of it with these kids. Now, with that being said, I think we have to go out there with great intensity, understand our opponent, and play like a champion. You know, we've been there. This is our third straight year in this last game.
All right, final question here, and it does revolve around these careers. Take us all the way back to 4 years ago when Juan and the twins are freshmen. Michi's on the JV team. You guys were taking some lumps. You had to fight to get to double-digit wins. Did you have any idea that this would be in store for you over the course of these guys' careers?
Well, we felt like that this group was going to win. You know, unfortunately, they got thrown in as ninth graders because we had a gap. We had back-to-back senior classes that were big. So with that year, their ninth grade year, was a huge gap. And actually, it benefited them. We took our lumps. But what's misleading is their ninth grade year, and Juan started every game from ninth grade on, was we lost 14 games. 10 of those games were by 3, 2, or 1 point. We only got really beaten beyond that in 4 games. We couldn't close the deal, so you could see it in us. Now, at the end of the year, we took a demoralizing loss at William Campbell in the regionals to a bunch of seniors. But this group coming along, even though we knew as freshmen, you know, we're going to take our lumps, we thought something good would be in store. I'm not quite sure we realized it was going to be 3 straight title games, but it's a special group. It's a historical group.
Sure is, Coach. It's been a fun ride. The shout-outs, you don't have your list, but you're well-oiled at this point. I think you can probably handle most of them.
Many people are here that's on the list. Those that are not on the list, Sarah and Swanson, our neighbors, who very loyal fans at home and had a great time, and I know they're listening in and watching Hoops, our dog, and Minnie and Chris and Ann and Chris all in Florida are watching in or listening, and they really enjoyed listening to the games this year. I think Micah is down. My dad's here. Those are people that are on the list. I think Pug and Bob Finch are listening to KDE. Glenn and Linda Miller, our loyal supporters in town. Miller's Jewelry been so good to us throughout the year. I know they are listening in. And for all the people that have supported Colonel basketball for the year, we're most appreciative and grateful. And let's hope we can squeeze out one more win.
Coach, congratulations on getting here. Tip-off in about 10 minutes on 105.5 KD Country.
Hello, this is Mitch Haley with Altavista Appliance, Home and Lawn Center. I would like to take this time to thank KD Country for the advertising opportunities they have provided me this past year. I would also like to thank our customers for making 2014 such a great year. It is because of your continuous support that we are able to expand our business and offer you more than we ever had in 2015. Come see us today at Altavista Appliance, Home and Lawn Center, where you can shop small and save big.
Visit their newly remodeled showroom on 7th Street.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving family since 1905. Personal, memorable memorial moments, celebrating life and more. Pre-arrangements with confidence, trust and care from our family to yours. Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving family since 1905.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical Virginia high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too.
Brought to you by English Construction Company with offices in Lynchburg.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
Subway pregame show returns here from the Siegel Center on the campus of VCU in Richmond. I'm Kyle Hoehne. He's Oscar Briggs. So glad that you could join us for this, what we're calling Breakfast in Basketball State Tournament, 10 a.m. tip-off schedule between the Altavista Colonels and the Honaker Tigers. And, Oscar, before we get into the two ball clubs, let's get one round of shout-outs out of the way very quickly. I think Robert Duff, our old Subway pal, is listening back in Altavista. Kendra, Mark, Stephanie, all the gang there at Subway, all the faculty and staff at Altavista High School. And Also want to point out my good buddy Josh Cochran listening, along with Natalie Aiken-Angel, Oscar. And both of those two last names should be pretty familiar to folks around town. She is, of course, an Altavista alum. We probably got a ton of Altavista alumni scattered along the East Coast and beyond that are listening today to this one.
And additionally, I bumped into Lee Carlero up in the grandstands. I was coming back from getting some water, and she said that she had family that listened Monday, and they certainly appreciated listening to the game. They were on the edge of their seat, too, so I'm sure they're listening again today, and good luck.
It really is an honor and a real treat for us to be able to bring you the games. But we'll get to that some maybe in the Subway halftime show, Subway postgame show, talk about some of that other stuff. Let's talk about the action on the hardwood right now. As I mentioned, the Honaker Tigers, you heard Coach Carlero talk about them. Well-schooled ball club coached by Marcus Dunham. He's in his 5th season. He is yet to have a losing season. His team is 26-1. They've scored over 90 points 5 times this year. They've reached the century mark twice. Already talked about a couple of their big guns, and you heard Coach Carlero mention some of the other names. This is another team, Oscar, that much like the Colonels and much like Galax, not going to go real deep into the bench. Probably don't need to.
Well, they can't. They've only got 9 players on the roster. And we looked the game against Surrey. They went about 7 deep, rotated their guards in and out, and again, so that's about as deep as the Colonels are going to go. The Colonels may go 8 deep today, depending on situation, but won't go much deeper than that.
Tanner Robinette is the name you're going to hear a lot. He's the big man for them, 6'8". They are the Tigers, so they call Tanner Robinette the Big Cat. We'll probably use that nickname some as well. He averages 22 points a game, 15 boards a game, 5.1 blocks a game, Oscar. He's already got 4 triple-doubles on the year and probably too many double-doubles to even keep track of. Offense kind of revolves around Tanner Robinette, and just in case you think he's a one-trick pony, he can pass, too.
Well, he can, and they use him very much like we call a point forward or point center, whatever. The ball goes into him, you collapse. They've got some deadly shooters. Hunter Lester from outside was hit for 24 points, was the leading scorer for him. On Monday, he was 4 of 7 from three-point land. Same thing, Casey Dye. He's equally as adept at hitting the outside shot. And when the ball goes into Robinette, you collapse 2 players on him, you might get away. If you try to collapse 3, they're well schooled at their off players cutting to the hoop.
Right.
And at 6'8", he's got great vision, makes good decisions with the ball, and that leads to some layups for him.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a very good offensive setup when you've got a dominant center power forward type like Robinette that you can run your offense through. He's going to try and score first, but if you take that away, he is very adept at hitting those cutters like Oscar said, and then hitting the guys for the kick-out threes. Nobody better from beyond the three-point line than my buddy Daniel Tanner. Big shout-out to him. And we are courtside here at VCU in Richmond, Virginia. Great atmosphere. And, Oscar, let's talk about the atmosphere for her a second. You're already seeing this crowd filling up. We talked Monday that the crowd was maybe a little lackluster. It's Monday morning, hard to get off work. I think some people called in sick today, or they're playing hooky from school. Colonels have a big fan base here. Honaker, you can say the exact same thing about them, and they had a longer drive to make from the mountains of southwest Virginia.
Well, the way that the arena is set up is that right down the middle at midcourt, the stands are the arena's kind of divided, and each team sitting behind each set of fans, is sitting behind their bench. I would say that the crowds are about equal the supporters are equal for both schools. And again, you alluded to the fact that Honaker is a 340-mile drive, and early, because I'm sure most of them were here to spend the night. It looked like Honaker was going to outnumber the Altavista fans, but 2.5-hour drive from Altavista, they filled in. They're still arriving, filled in nicely. I would say the crowds are about even.
Yeah, and the Colonels have a great sort of student-only cheering section over here to our right. Obviously, there's seats not just on the sidelines, but also on the baselines here at VCU. It is an arena. It's not a gym, and maybe that's a good time to make that point, Oscar. The shooting background, a little more difficult up here for the high school players. You're used to having a wall right behind the basket, and that helps with the depth perception. With an open arena-type setting like this, sometimes that hinders your jump shooting ability, and maybe that kind of burned the Colonels on Monday night. They did not hit a three-pointer. That's only the second time that has happened this season.
Well, we did talk about that. It's only the second time, and they didn't have a dunk as well either, and they only had one bucket in transition. Those two things have to change for the Colonels to have a chance and pull this three-peat off.
I think you're right. We talked about that. It would be very beneficial for Altavista to hit a long ball to sort of open up that defense from Honaker, make them step out, and then the dunk, I think, would really kind of spark everybody. And it doesn't have to come from Thornhill. We've seen Demetrius Johnson with some dunks. Darius can dunk, and, of course, Donovan Montague had that one big running right-handed jackhammer of a slam that came earlier in the region tournament.
Well, and it's not necessarily the dunk; it's the bucket in transition. Certainly, the dunk adds pulls the crowd in and excites them. But and sometimes it pumps the players up as well. But I think the main thing is getting some buckets in transition, which they couldn't do against Galax, and hitting the boards, getting back on the defensive transition because. As we saw, Honaker, they leaked a couple guys. With Guy and Robinette on the boards, they'll leak some players out and try to get some mismatches, some 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s, and those type things in transition.
Yeah, the Honaker Tigers average over 70 points per game. You don't do that by playing stall ball and just setting up your half-court offense every time down. They can get out and run, too. Subway pregame show is rapidly coming to a close here as the teams are back on their respective benches. They're going to read the sportsmanship conversation piece that they have that one player from each team will read. Donovan Montague did the honors last game, for the Colonels. And we're also going to do the national anthem, and that is going to happen right now. So we'll step aside. Another quick timeout. Subway pregame show, returns for one more final segment, and the tip is about 3 minutes away on 105.5 KD Country.
Unfortunately, I have some bad news.
How bad is it, Doctor?
We've done all we can. Your heat pump's not gonna make it.
Oh, no.
Honey, it's going to be okay. We'll call Select Air Mechanical and Electrical, 332-2600. With over 60 years experience, they'll have us comfortable again in no time.
I recommend Select Air to all my patients. Call 332-2600 or visit selectairmechanical.com. They can handle all your home comfort needs, and they're an authorized train dealer. It's hard to stop a train.
Good food, low prices, and great service keep customers coming back for more day after day at El Cazador Mexican Restaurant in Altavista. El Cazador is now open all afternoons, so you can buy anytime, any day, 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, a great place to unwind and relax with friends. Open 7 days a week, Main Street, Altavista. El Cazador thanks you for your business and making them the #1 Mexican restaurant in town.
Life happens. Divorce, family problems, criminal charges, civil litigation, personal injury cases. Turn to David W. Shreve, an experienced attorney at law. David W. Shreve has been practicing law for 30-plus years. Free consultation for personal injury cases. Call today, 369-6621. 369-6621. David W. Shreve. Good luck to the Altavista basketball team in the playoffs. Go Colonels. David W. Shreve, located 7th Street, Altavista.
Here's more award-winning high school sports with Kyle and Oscar on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway pregame show wrapping up here from the Siegel Center in Richmond. The Altavista Colonels and the Honaker Tigers set to do battle for a 1A state championship trophy. Colonels trying to cap off the three-peat. They are the reigning and defending state champs. The Honaker Tigers would love nothing more than to end that plan and take home the state championship themselves. A couple more shout-outs as we roll along, Oscar. A bunch of people connected with us on Facebook. And, again, like KD Country on Facebook, a lot of good stuff to see and do on there. We'll give away some stuff. And we'll give away a bunch of stuff on our Reached app as well, REACHT. There's a question about Colonel basketball on there right now. But Adam Lee, Melinda Moore, Stan Finch, Carrie Ann McFadden, Christy Tinsley, who is Coach Tinsley's wife, Jenny Morgan, some others as well, checking in with us on Facebook on the Monday game. And we would not be here if it wasn't for the generous support of folks like English's, your complete home center, and your Glidden Paint headquarters. David Shreve, attorney at law. When life happens, call David W. Shreve. Select Air Mechanical and Electrical, your authorized train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Services, a family serving families since 1905. Altavista Appliance. Come visit them at their new location on 7th Street in Altavista. Fellers Chevrolet, a short drive will save you money. Sunny Merriman, Virginia's premier bus company. English Construction, wishing our high school athletes an exciting and injury-free game. First National Bank, focused on providing an extraordinary customer experience. El Cazador, a great place for family and friends to dine. And for all those people that are listening online, Mr. and Mrs. Basketball fan from border to border, coast to coast, and all the ships at sea, you're listening thanks to Chris Owen, your All-State agent in Lynchburg. Go online, get a quote from Chris Owen today. More shout-outs and Colonel hellos as we roll on, Oscar. But, again, let's take the focus back to the hardwoods as the lights go out here at the Siegel Center. It's not quite like the light show at Altavista, but it's not bad either.
No, and certainly they didn't do this Monday.
Yeah.
They were on a tight schedule Monday, a little bit tighter today. And, again, they're announcing every player for both teams, so it'll take a little bit longer before we get to the starting lineup. Scanning through the crowd, a face I haven't seen at a Colonel game this year is here. Ex-Coach Delano Douglas is in the building.
Nice.
So always nice to see Coach Douglas around.
Yeah, Coach Douglas was the junior varsity coach and, of course, an assistant coach for many years. And, you know, that's one of the things Coach Cardallero mentioned when he got that 500th win against Surrey. And the 400th one at Altavista as well the game before that. Oscar, he talked about, you know, I'm really just here because of the great players and the great coaches that I've had with me.
Of course he is.
Well, Coach C is pretty modest. He's about as modest as they come for a head coach of his caliber. You know, normally to get that good, you have to have a little bit of an ego. And sure, Coach Cardallero wants to win, but he is a pretty modest guy, and he likes to shy away from the spotlight a lot of times.
Absolutely does, and always defers to the players. When they play well, credits to the players. When they don't play well, he didn't prepare them that well. So that's just the type person he is.
Yeah, and this coaching staff, we mentioned Delano Douglas, former Colonel assistant. He's got a pretty good group of assistants with him now, of course. There's Greg Fribble standing right beside him, Coach Chad Ward. You heard from after the game Monday. I already talked about Coach Fribble. Coach Harris, another one of the guys. And Coach DeMichael Lee is the youngest member of the staff, but he is a very valuable member of the coaching staff. And the Colonels really are working together as one unit, players, coaches, support staff, everybody the same way. And starters being announced now, and you see some of that size on the court already. Casey Harmon was the very good tight end for Honaker, Oscar. He will start for them along with Tanner Robinette, Hunter Lester, Caleb Sample, and Casey Dye. 4 of those guys in double figures on the year for average points, Oscar. Harmon the only one that's not, and he's at 9.1 a game, so it's a team that can really score.
Yeah, and then the fifth starter for us is Hunter Lester, and he is a sharpshooter. Ice water runs through his veins. He was fun to watch Monday morning. You leave him open, he's going to knock it down.
He shoots 40% from the three-point line. On the other side, for the Altavista Colonels, their starting lineup, pretty familiar one. It's the 5 seniors. Once again, number 1, Michi Malbeck, the man that hit the buzzer beater to win it for the Colonels Monday. He will be joined by number 3, Donovan Montague, number 5, Demetrius Johnson, number 10, Darius Johnson. And if you don't know, if it's your first game, they are indeed brothers, and they're twin brothers. And, of course, who could forget the final starter for the Altavista Colonels, Magic Man, Mr. Everything, E.A. Thornhill, whatever you want to call him. You're going to hear his name a lot, Juan Thornhill, number 2.
Boy, and this is an exciting time if you're a Colonel. All year long, you have a target on your back. You're taking everybody's best shot. The only hope at the beginning of the year is, hey, can you get back and have an opportunity? Here we are, state championship, chance to win the 3rd straight one. And we're almost ready for tip-off. Exciting time again if you're a Colonel fan.
Yeah, very exciting. Something that most teams and coaches and players and fan bases can really only dream of. The Colonels are living it. We're at Jump Circle. Honaker in the road white jerseys. Orange and black stripes go down the side. Honaker written above the orange number in the middle of the jersey. Everybody for Honaker wearing the black shoes. Colonels in the road black jerseys with the gray socks and gray shoes. Tip-off goes to the Honaker Tigers early. That's Casey Dye. He throws it in the middle of the court. He's looking for Caleb Sample. Sample had it stolen away. Here comes Smallback down the left sideline. He'll slow it down and retreat back to midcourt, and the Colonels are in the front court with 7:40 left to play, no score.
And no surprise, Honaker opens up in a 2-3 zone. We thought that would be the case.
Colonels are going to swing it around the perimeter of that zone, look for some openings. Smallback, pump fake the 3. Now he steps inside, pull up 17-footer off the back iron, rolls around, collected by Casey Harmon, the power forward, number 21 for the Honaker Tigers. Here comes Honaker in the front court now. Second possession they've had. We still don't have a score here in the Select Air first quarter. Robinette, right hand low block. Good post move up and under. Went to his right, then to his left, and in for the deuce. Honaker scores first. They lead 2-0. Speaking of the deuce, it's Juan Thornhill with a waist-high dribble. He'll chest pass it middle of the court to Montague. Monty surveying the defense. He'll exchange places with Thornhill. Honaker fans already on their feet with the defense chant. They might not sit down all game. Malbeck catches on the left sideline. Thought about a 3. Tigers closed out well. Darius Johnson working on the low block. Now it's Montague along the baseline. Pull-up jumper from 15 was swatted away by Tanner Robinette. The Big Cats already made an impact with 2 points and a block.
I think that caught Donovan off guard. He closed a little bit quicker than I think Donovan thought he could.
Middle of the lane, it goes to Robinette. Turn around, left-hand hook shot won't fall. Thornhill there for the rebound right underneath the hoop. And he's going into the front court. Shake and bake move. Now just hands it off to Demetrius Johnson. Johnson's going to dribble along the baseline to the rack. Right side, count the basket. Off the window and in. We're tied 2-2. 6:10 left to play in the Select Air first quarter.
When the difference last time on offense for Honaker is that Darius was able to push Robinette way out.
Robinette on this exchange catches in the mid-post. He's fouled on the floor. Put up a shot afterwards, but the referees waved it off. Darius Johnson's first personal foul. Altavista's first as a team. We've got 6:02 left to play in the Select Air first quarter. We're all tied at 2. This is Hunter Lester driving the baseline. He was cut off by Darius Johnson. Finds Caleb Sample. Back to Lester, right wing. Trying to go to the free throw line to Harmon. Harmon took too many steps.
That's right.
Thornhill did a nice job of knocking the initial pass down, and I think that screwed Harmon up a bit.
Boy, and they're rotating through. Donovan Montague, a nice job on Robinette that time. Donovan at 6'5", well put together, but Robinette's a big kid.
Well, you and I thought that they might give some different looks to Robinette, try some different players on him, and the Colonels certainly have a full complement of good defenders that they can go to. Ball back, left wing, lob pass overhead to Demetrius Johnson between the circles. It's back to Meach in the left wing, dribbles a little bit to his right, middle of the court. Now it's over to Thornhill right wing. Juan driving, stop, cut off, looking for help. Going to throw it in the backcourt. Michi saves it. They're going to say he did not get back in time. Coach Cardellaro telling the guys, hey, just relax. Points out where one of the Colonels should have gone to alleviate some of that pressure for Thornhill. Turnover there. Honaker basketball right at midcourt. We are courtside here from VCU, the Siegel Center, home of the Rams. This is Caleb Sample. Right-hand dribble, one-hand bounce pass to Robinette in the short corner along the baseline, off the glass and in. Robinette took some contact there and played through it. He's got 4. Honaker has 4. They lead by 2. 3 minutes have gone by in this first quarter. Thornhill thinking about a 3. Drives to the left edge of the paint. Soft floater up. Won't fall. Tip in from Darius. Won't fall. Wrestling match for the basketball is won by Casey Harmon.
Well, that ball was down twice.
Quickly into the front court. 3 ball up from Hunter Lester is good. Honaker coming out with a spark and a fire in their eyes, much to the delight of their standing and cheering crowd. Colonels trail 7-2, but we're not even halfway through the Select Air first quarter yet.
Yeah, Colonels yet to even try a three-pointer. Look a little gun-shy right now, Kyle. I know Michi's had a couple opportunities. Juan's had an opportunity.
Yeah, they didn't hit one in that first game against Galax Monday, but you can't let that stop you. You got to keep firing, especially when Honaker's in this 2-3 zone. They're in it right now. It's intact and pretty well packed in. Thornhill catches the long lob pass from Malbeck. Juan will dribble slowly to his right between the circles. Left wing to Michi. Michi, pull-up jumper, 15-footer, won't fall. Rebound by Donovan, won't fall. Rebound by Darius Johnson on the left side of the paint. Boy, Darius had to take some serious contact.
Talking about earlier, they are letting them play. It's very physical underneath, and that will benefit Honaker as we move forward.
Well, Honaker's got the bigger bodies at 6'8" and 6'5", but I'll tell you, the brothers Johnson, They are nobody's doorstop. They can play physical with the best of them, so maybe we'll see if they can use some of that that the officials are letting them play here. This is Dye driving to the hoop. That's good on the lay-in. Coach Mike Carlero wants a timeout. 9-2, the Honaker Tigers on top early. We've got 3:50 left to play in the first quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
Virginia's oldest and most experienced bus company, Sunny Merriman Incorporated, along with their employees and families, joined together to congratulate the Altavista High School athletic teams for their outstanding sports seasons. Sunny Merriman wishes you the best in the playoffs and in your quest to bring home more state championship trophies to our community. Go Colonels, make us proud.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
Hundreds of folks listening online, probably thousands of folks listening at 105.5 on the FM dial, listening to our 53rd year of high school basketball, Oscar. State championship action. Colonels trailed 9-2. What do you think Coach Cardellero might have said in the timeout?
I think he told them they've got to settle their nerves and look for their opportunities and get back into their offense. I mean, they've had some opportunities.
Demetrius looking for brother Darius. Demetrius drove with the right hand along the right baseline, tried to bounce it over to Darius, but his last touch out of bounds off of number 10 for the Colonels. So it's another Honaker basketball after a turnover.
And the problem that the Colonels have had is they've seen this kind of height with one person, but not with two.
Sure.
Going 6'8", 6'5", and we've seen them handle one of that height, but now they're going past one, and there's a 6'5" kid waiting for you, and that's thrown them off a little bit on the inside.
Yeah, Hunter Lester's three-pointer was off the mark. Colonel basketball in the front court. Michi left-hand dribble, swings it to Juan. Juan gets to the left elbow, floater up, hit the backboard, but not the rim. Rebound turns into another wrestling match. You get two brothers Johnsons and Casey Harmon in there. Finally, a jump ball called.
Boy, they are.
Possession arrow favors Altavista.
Yeah, they are absolutely letting them play. Haven't seen a crew allow this type of physicality in a game so far this year. Of course, Colonels have to adapt to that.
Lob play. Thornhill to the rim with the two-handed jackhammer slam. Juan Thornhill rising up, and he was fouled. It was the old alley-oop lob play. Malbeck threw it from the left side of the baseline, just kind of winged it right by the backboard to the front of the rim. Juan in flight, levitating above everybody else, grabs it and flushes it home with two, and he's at the foul line for the three-point play. Wow, my goodness.
My goodness is right. And he knocks down, converts the free throw. He's going to say,
oh, boy. Free throw went in, but they wiped it off the board. They said somebody was in the lane, a violation there. Foul ended up being on number 21, Casey Harmon, by the way. So it's 9-4. Could have been 9-5, but the Colonels have the violation on the free throw. Honaker into the front court. This is Casey Dye, the quarterback and the point guard. Running right-hand layup, won't fall. Blocking foul on Juan Thornhill. Juan tried to get his feet planted on the right edge of the paint area right there. Just maybe got there a split second too late.
Yeah, we got a good angle on that, and a lot of Altavista contingent didn't think it was. I think they got that call right.
They showed the replay just now, and you didn't hear too many people start booing or anything like that, so maybe they saw what we saw. Nelson Dew's in the basketball game now for Altavista. He joins Juan Thornhill, Darius Johnson, Demetrius Johnson, and Michi Malbeck. First free throw drops in for Casey Dye, senior, 6-foot guard. And as I mentioned, also the quarterback, for the Honaker Tigers. Going to try the second one. 3 dribbles, bends the knees, fires it up with the right-hand shot, won't fall. Rebound by Darius Johnson. Collected nicely. Here comes Nelson Dews up the left sideline. He'll slow it down and just shortly dump it off to Juan Thornhill.
And I like the substitution with Nelson. Nelson's strokes looked very good in pregame. Historically, Nelson hadn't been shy about putting up the 3.
He's hit a 3 in 17 games this season. He's hit multiple 3s 7 times. Thought about one there. Just going to use the right-hand dribble. Flips it over to Thornhill. Thornhill slings it over to Malbeck, right wing. Malbeck up and under lay-in. Right-hand touch won't fall. Rebounded by Casey Harmon. Barely got to the rim. Just kind of nicked the bottom of it. Honaker in transition. Lay-in won't go. Rebound being battled for, knocked out of bounds off of Demetrius Johnson. There was a time Honaker getting out and running, not off the turnover, but off of a missed shot. They just fire that basketball to midcourt, and the guards are gone.
Yeah, the guards were gone, and it was a nice pass over Thornhill to the basket. Colonels did a good job in transition, getting back and contesting, so it wasn't just a bunny shot.
Tigers will inbound. This is Caleb Sample, tied up, picked up his dribble about 25 feet away from the hoop. Robinette with the left-handed jam. Darius gambled to try and make the steal in the low post. Robinette turned around and didn't have anybody between him and the front of the rim, so he flushed it down with a left-hander. Thornhill going to walk it into the front court, directing traffic, pointing out areas in the defense. Probing, looking for somewhere to go. Malbeck, three-pointer up, front of the iron. Looked good, though, right on target. Rebound is loose. That's Demetrius Johnson with it. He can't score that, but brother Darius grabs it on the left side of the bucket and sticks it in from there off the glass. 12-6. Colonels trail by 6. 1:30 left to play in the Select Air first quarter.
And Demetrius went up, and there was a bunch of contact on that. He anticipated the contact.
Steal there by the Altavista Colonels. They were looking for Robinette in the low post again. Darius took it away. Thornhill, one-man fast break, pulls up, right wing 17-footer, won't fall. Long rebound chased down by Nelson Dews at the free throw line.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir, from the left wing, three ball, it's good. Malbeck getting the crowd pumped, getting the team pumped. 12-9, Altavista still trails by 3. We've got 60 seconds left to play in the Select Air first quarter.
Back in that zone.
Yep, zone defense, and it worked. Thornhill poked it away and then got it on the redirect. Here comes Juan, in and out of traffic, leaves it for Malbeck on the bounce. Michi with the left-hand lay-in is good. Marcus Dunham wants a timeout for the Honaker Tigers. Altavista's pumped. We got 50 seconds left to play in the first. Colonels trail by 1. Timeout here on 105.5 KD Country.
Does it seem that most stores don't care about good service these days? Well, at English's Building Supply, good service is still the king. They greet me with a smile, help me select the highest quality Glidden paint, provide expert color matching, and even carry my paint to the car. They help me get the job done right and make it last. At English's Building Supply, the customer is still king. English's Hardware and Building Supply, North Main Street, Altavista.
Back to the press box for high school sports on 105.5 KD Country.
12-11. Altavista still trailing, but cutting into that Honaker lead. Keaton Brooks is listening in the Northern Virginia, D.C. area. Danny Barber is listening on Broad Street in Altavista.
And broadcasting through the speakers on Broad Street.
Exactly right. Doesn't matter where you're at, coast to coast, whether you're in Central Virginia, Kalamazoo, Timbuktu. We've got you a great basketball game here. Honaker ball. That's Lester in the corner. Back up top to Dye. Dye in the high post. Now to Harmon. Harmon with a long 30-foot pass in the right corner to Lester. Lester had it poked away. Puts up a shot anyway, and it'll fall. Rattled around, front iron, back iron, and then finally fell. 14-11. Good answer there for Honaker out of the timeout. Colonel ball in the road. Black jerseys working right to left. From our perspective, Darius took a long time to get back into the front court.
He was selling some popcorn. Well, he did it all Monday.
That's right. Some of the Colonels can do it all. Ball back, thinking about a three. He'll try it. Pull up three at the horn is good. Michi Malbeck with another buzzer beater. This time to end the first quarter, and it ties it up. 14-14. You do not want to miss the second quarter of action. We're all tied. Altavista Honaker. It's on 105.5 KD Country.
If you're like me, life changes, and that brings up financial questions. I'm Vivian Brown of First National Bank, and we're excited to offer a new Financial Answer Center that will help you better understand your own needs. It covers various financial topics, offers free quick guide, and if needed, access to a First National Bank employee. So go to our website at 1stnatbk.com and take a look at the new Financial Answer Center. It's a smart resource that could help you bring home more bacon. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Your high school sports station with award-winning coverage on 105.5 KD Country.
All knotted up after 8 minutes of basketball. Oscar Briggs. It's always been fun, but it's getting real fun now, huh?
Yeah, it's not fun when you're trailing by 10 with 6.5 minutes left and you only have 23 points on the board. That was a good first quarter of basketball. Honaker came out strong, had the Colonels back, led 9-2, had the Colonels back on their heels a little bit. I think that dunk sparked a little run in these Colonels and got some confidence. Michi with 2 nice three-point shots. Boy, he certainly got a little spring in his step now and doesn't look as tentative as he did early in the game.
The dunk Oscar referring to the alley-oop inbounds play from Malbeck to Thornhill, and Juan just powering it home with 2 hands. And Michi with a big quarter there, tied it up at the end with the buzzer beater 3. They got it to Harmon in the high post. He throws it down low to Dye along the baseline. Fall away jump shot from 7 feet won't fall, and it's rebounded nicely by the Colonels. They cleared out well. Juan, Dye picked his pocket from behind. Rare to see that, but Dye just kept running and followed him down there. Here's Hunter Lester. Right hand lay-in won't fall from the right side. Robinette on the rebound, stick back, and he is fouled. Crowd comes to life. They thought Demetrius had the clean block, but they're going to whistle number 5 with his first personal foul.
And I think Darius has said, look, I've been up 3 times on my end, and I've gotten the same play, and you hadn't called it both ways.
It could be some of the thought process going on in Darius and Demetrius' mind right now. This is the big man, 6'8", Tanner Robinette, to toe the free throw line. First shot up from the left-handed shooter falls. Good spin on it. And as I mentioned before, the big cat can play. He averages 22 a game, 15 rebounds, 5 blocks. He's got 6 right now, looking to make it 7, looking to give Honaker a 2-point lead, and he does, 16-14. Tigers lead by 2 with 7:30 left to play in the Select Air second quarter. Colonel's going to set up shop in the front court. Thornhill just walking it slowly across the timeline. Now it's Malbeck left wing. Fakes the pass to his left, going to wing it back to his right to Thornhill. Thornhill whips it over to Nelson Dews, right side. Nelson in trouble momentarily. Over to Michi. Michi, clear 3-ball up and in. Nothing but nylon for Michi Malbeck. He is starting to heat up. His 3rd long-distance call of the day so far. 17-16. Colonel's on top. First lead of the game, Oscar.
And when that happens with Michi, his defense picks up as well.
Absolutely right. Good box out again from the Colonels on the missed shot. Demetrius Johnson grabbed the rebound in the middle of the lane. Here comes Altavista. Looking to spark it. Demetrius, 1 step to the hoop. Lay-in won't fall. Thornhill's got the put back. The Magic Man, what can't he do? He looks a little shaken up on the play. So does Demetrius Johnson. Honaker quickly. Straight away shot from Dye was just smothered by Montague. He just threw it straight down. Thornhill skying to the rim. Finger roll won't fall. Montague on the rebound. Colonel's going to try and collect themselves. Nelson Dews, 3-ball up. Yes, sir! Nelson Dews for 3. Colonel's pulling away all of a sudden. 22-16. Timeout on the floor. Honaker. Altavista working on all cylinders here with 6:20 left to play in the second quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
A short drive will save you money.
In the market for a new Chevrolet? Fellers Chevrolet.
FellersDirect.com.
For a huge selection of new Chevrolets and pre-owned vehicles, it's Fellers Chevrolet.
FellersDirect.com.
FellersDirect.com. Selection. Convenience. Fellers Chevrolet.
Fellers Chevrolet.
Always open and only a click away.
FellersDirect.com.
A short drive will save you money. Fellers Chevrolet in Altavista.
Now back to the action with Colonel Sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels, they lead the important statistic. They're now up 22-16 on a very good run that started with about 2 or 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Oscar, they're also winning the rebounding battle, and they're winning the long-distance shooting battle as well. 4 long balls from 3 for the Colonels, just 1 for the Honaker Tigers.
Well, we talked about them being very tentative and not shooting the 3 early in the quarter. Once they started shooting, it's raining 3s now.
Colonels are going back into that 2-3 zone again. I know that sounds funny for old diehard Colonel fans to hear. 3-ball up and good from Casey Dye. Left sideline bomb goes down. 19 points now for the Honaker Tigers. Colonels, they still lead by 3. Nelson Dew is going to try it again. That time it was off. Nobody on the left side of the court, and Donovan Montague tracks down the rebound. Thornhill leaves it off inside for Demetrius right in front of the hoop. Demetrius fouled going to the bucket. Ball ends up out of bounds, but he'll shoot 2 free throws.
They've gone boxing 1 on this possession, with the 1 being on Michi Malbeck.
Can't say that it's the worst strategy I've ever heard, especially with Michi having the hot hand.
Be interested to see if they do it next trip down, but different look for the Colonels than the Colonels have seen this year.
Demetrius going to toe the free throw line. First shot, good action, but rattles out, no good. Darius will check back in the game. Demetrius trying to shake off a little bit of an injury. Darius in the ball game with Donovan Montague, brother Demetrius, Juan Thornhill, and Michi Malbeck. 22-19, Colonels lead. 5:49 left to play in the Select Air second quarter. That one does fall. 23-19. Altavista on top now. Honaker in the home white jerseys. Working left to right across your radio dial here from the Siegel Center in VCU. This is Jacob Coleman in the game for his first action. Goes right wing over to
Another
Guy.
steal.
Another steal. Colonel's in the zone, operating well out of it.
That off the hands of Darius Johnson.
Long wingspan from Darius helped out. Montague, chest pass right back to Thornhill. Juan between the circles, back to Donnie. Donnie lost it, hugged the basketball to protect it. One dribble inside, now back to Juan. Juan thinking about a three ball. Kick out to Montague again. Montague, three. Side of the iron, no good. Rebound controlled nicely in the middle of the paint by Casey Dye, number 11, the senior guard for Honaker. Got 5:08 left to play in the half. 23-19. Colonel still in the 2-3 zone. Ball back in Thornhill up top. They throw it to Robinette, left-hand post. One dribble to the hoop, no good. Montague played defense effectively and got the rebound. Up ahead quickly to Demetrius. Demetrius to the hoop, swatted away. Maybe a goaltend, no call. Robinette grabs the loose ball. Demetrius clearly having a problem getting up and down the floor right now. You can see a grimace on his face. Layup won't fall. Put back by Harmon will. Casey Harmon there for the stick back. Makes it a 2-point ball game again.
Yeah, that ball was off the glass. I don't know how that's not a goaltend.
4.5 left to play in the Select Air second quarter. This is 1A state championship action.
And they're in a box and one.
From the Siegel Center. You're absolutely right. They are. The one man is Jacob Coleman. I mentioned we hadn't seen him much. He appears to be a defensive stopper, specialist kind of guy. Ball back dribbled by him that time. Goes to the low post to Darius Johnson. Johnson shot too strong. Rebound is loose. There's Demetrius. Shot deflected, but it goes in.
And this is as physical a high school game as I've seen. I kind of like it.
It reminds you of an old Dan River
right.
Altavista type of game. They're banging on each other. They're beating on each other. Officials are letting them play.
Or an old school Gretna Altavista game. They are very physical, letting them play on both ends.
25-21. Colonel's up 4, and we're exactly halfway through the Select Air second quarter. This is Blake Stinson, another substitute for Honaker. Now they go free throw line. Harmon's going to try 16-footer off the glass and in. On the playground, if you don't call that, it doesn't count. Doesn't matter here. No pictures on the scoreboard. 25-23. Colonel's lead trimmed down to 2. Ball back. One-on-one dribble. It is still the box and one defense again. Gadget defense. Thornhill driving. Shovels it over to Darius Johnson. Johnson, left side of the paint. 10-footer. Falls. Nice soft touch on the mid-range.
And the Colonels really look like they're in sync. Their spacing is good. Their timing is good. Defensively, they're much more intense than they have been so far this week in Richmond.
Yeah, it didn't look great, particularly in the first 3 minutes of the first quarter in this one.
Another
steal there by Darius Johnson. Ball is loose. Darius dives on the floor after it. Michi Malbeck wanted the timeout, and he got it. Officials are going to grant him. Good play there by Michi. 27-23. Let's take a timeout with them. Altavista leading. 3:08 left to play in the half on 105.5 KD Country.
Hello, this is Mitch Haley with Altavista Appliance, Home, and Lawn Center. I would like to take this time to thank KD Country for the advertising opportunities they have provided me this past year. I would also like to thank our customers for making 2014 such a great year. It is because of your continuous support that we are able to expand our business and offer you more than we ever had in 2015. Come see us today at Altavista Appliance, Home, and Lawn Center, where you can shop small and save big.
Visit their newly remodeled showroom on 7th Street.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
27-23. Colonels on top. I mentioned the Reach app that you should download and check out. Very good stuff from KD Country. A man that uses that, Oscar, and he also is listening with the TuneIn app right now. Our very dear friend and good buddy, Agent 001, Bob Alvis, listening on Timberlake Road in Lynchburg. Bob's pick to click was Donovan Montague, and I think Donovan's been doing a great job so far. All the Colonels, I can't point out one guy that's really played bad so far, Oscar.
No, and they're still in that box and one. They got Coach Carlero's got a play designed. He's got Michi down low. He's going to start running into a whole bunch of screens.
This is not Coach Carlero's first rodeo. You know, a lot of teams used to do this with Kenny Hunt 10, 11, 12 years ago. And, of course, Mr. Hunt was on that 04 state championship team. Thornhill, no look over to the right wing to Demetrius Johnson. Juan gets it back and just holds it momentarily. They're trying to diagnose this defense, trying to find ways to attack it. And you can imagine that the Colonels have probably practiced against it some this year. Darius, left-hand post. Shot was stuffed by Robinette. Jump ball is the proper call there, as it never left Darius Johnson's hands. And the Colonels have the possession on the arrow.
Ordinarily, Darius can get underneath and come back and get that shot off, not against the 6'8 Robinette. Colonels are going to counter this box and one. They're going to send Nelson Dews in. That gives them another outside shooter.
Thornhill will inbound it long to Nelson Dews. Nelson catches about 40 feet away from the hoop at the right point. Now he goes right sideline to Demetrius Johnson in front of the Honaker bench. Thornhill's going to pop to the top of the key with 2:20 left to play in the Select Air second quarter and take control. 27-24, Colonels lead by 4. Nelson, 3-ball, right wing, off the front of the iron, no good. Rebounded by Tanner Robinette in the post for Honaker. The big man can play, runs the floor well, too. 2-minute warning here in the first half from the Siegel Center. Colonels up 4. Honaker basketball in the front court. They're looking to lob it down low to Robinette. He can't get to it. Tanner Robinette thought maybe he was held there by Darius Johnson, but what's good for the goose is good for the gander. They're not going to call it. Let him play.
And they've been doing it on both ends. I made the comment to you as we went to break. The Colonels have a bunch of steals. Interesting. It looks like Honaker, either they're making some lazy passes or they're not used to this type of length or speed.
Yeah, and probably the combination of the length and speed put together. I mean, it's a rare breed that the Altavista Colonels have out here on the court right now. They can all play. They can all play defense. Malbeck whips it over to Nelson Dews, right wing. Nelson looking for a teammate now. He'll take a couple dribbles with the right hand, sends it in the right corner to Demetrius Johnson. Malbeck cutting through the zone there as his one man just shadows him around. They do hand it off to Michi. Michi, free throw line, stop, kick out to Thornhill. Juan for 3. Bingo! Juan Thornhill!
On the assist from Michi, no less.
That is exactly right. 30-27. Colonels back up 7. We got 1:20 left to play in the half. Malbeck providing the defense now. He's got Sample bottled up. He finally gets rid of it to Lester. Lester driving, looking for a teammate. Finds Sample top of the key. NBA range 3 is short, no good. Rebounded by Nelson Dews.
And here comes Juan pushing.
Juan, full head of steam. The locomotive to the rack. Had it stripped away, though, on the way up. Looking for maybe the jam or at least a lay-in. Here we go. 2-on-3 fast break. Honaker didn't have numbers, but Dye took it to the rack since the Colonels were out of position and made a smart basketball play to attack with a full head of steam. Shot doesn't fall. He will go to the free throw line and shoot 2 for the Honaker Tigers. 55 seconds left to play in the half. Oscar, Colonels up 7.
4 fouls on the Colonels, 2 on Honaker so far.
2 of them are on Demetrius Johnson, by the way. I wonder if Coach C will take him out here for the rest of the half. He's got Montague waiting at the scorer's table. He wanted to get Montague in earlier, but could not.
He's getting both Demetrius and Darius out, it looks like, as Josh McClure and Donovan come in here for the last 55 seconds. And I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see them hold for the last shot. Dye misses the first free throw.
Second one on the way is good, nothing but net. I agree with you. Altavista held it for a full 90 seconds to take the last shot yesterday. Would not be surprised at all if they held it for 54.4 seconds. That's how much we have left in the half. Colonels lead by 6. 1A state final action here from VCU. Altavista looking to make it a 3-peat. Thornhill pump fake the NBA range 3, but did not try it.
In this boxing one, Michi's out front now. Slips. It's because he's got they got the gray shoes on.
He does have the gray shoes on. Good point. Keaton Brooks is listening. He found that to be very interesting.
So now Juan holding the ball on his hip, feeds it over to Michi.
Gives it back to Malbeck. Michi gets to the 3-point line, kicks out to Thornhill. Thornhill, this time the three-pointer's off the side of the iron. Nice offensive board by Montague, 5 feet away from the hoop. They kick it out to Nelson. Nelson Dews, no look dish to McClure. McClure lowered the shoulder and plowed number 12, Jacob Coleman. Shear comes up from the Honaker side. The Altavista side can't believe it. That's one. Maybe we can check the replay, Oscar. It had the appearance of an offensive foul.
Yeah, it did. Josh lowered his shoulder and gained an advantage. We've seen it on the other end, but all in all, officials have done a good job here in the first half of letting them play. That's all I can say about that.
5 team fouls for the Colonels, 2 for the Honaker Tigers. This is Coleman. Coleman long pass the other corner over to Sample. 3-ball up from Dye at the buzzer. No good. Bounced over the backboard. Nice first half for the Colonels, and they lead by 6. 30-24. Subway halftime show on the way when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. family serving families since 1905.
Life is full of opportunities to show someone we love them. One such opportunity is the funeral or memorial service. Finch and Finch helps you celebrate the relationships they shared and honors the memory of your loved one.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving families since 1905.
English Construction Company has been in the building business since 1909, so it's only natural that they appreciate the building process. They recognize the fact that organized sports programs build character as well as bodies and minds. They know that high school sports build our youth into more well-rounded and more productive adults. English Construction Company is proud to be a sponsor of high school sports and salute all athletes, coaches, and teachers. A word of praise and encouragement from English Construction Company with offices in Lynchburg.
Unfortunately, I have some bad news.
How bad is it, Doctor?
We've done all we can. Your heat pump's not gonna make it.
Oh, no.
Honey, it's going to be okay. We'll call Select Air Mechanical and Electrical, 332-2600. With over 60 years experience, they'll have us comfortable again in no time.
I recommend Select Air to all my patients. Call 332-2600 or visit selectairmechanical.com. They can handle all your home comfort needs, and they're an authorized trained dealer. It's hard to stop a train.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
Subway halftime show begins. The Colonels lead 30-24. We were tied 14-14 at the end of the first half. I'm Kyle Hoehne. He is Agent Zero, Oscar Briggs. And so glad that you have chosen to join us wherever you're at. Good buddy David Bennett is listening over there at Liberty in Lynchburg. He's got full range of motion, by the way. Oscar, old Colonel Johnny Wimbush, he's a state champion on the gridiron for Altavista. He's tuned in via the TuneIn app, and so many of our sponsors tuning in. Fellers Chevrolet, Kay Henderson, Greg Walker, the entire gang down there has us tuned in. El Cazador's got us on, Carlos, Stephen, Adrian, all the guys over there. I think the gang from First National Bank, so many great locations that they can listen
That's right.
at. But I think Sean Stone is a huge basketball fan. He and Todd Hall are probably tuned in. Can't forget about Select Air Mechanical and Electrical, Oscar, because Donnie Bryant, not only is he one of our sponsors and has been for a little while now, he provided these team shirts that the Colonels wear for the warm-ups in the playoffs. They say, let's make history. Well, that's exactly what the Colonels are trying to do. They're 24 minutes away from it now, Mr. Briggs. Or 24 minutes. It's not an NBA. They don't play 12 quarters. They're 16 minutes away from it. 8-minute quarters here in high school.
If they keep this lead, it may seem like 24, Kyle. It's you're after a very slow start. Colonels trailed 9-2, I think. Really got going on the inbounds pass, the slam from Thornhill, and that seemed to give them some confidence, relax them a little bit, and then the threes started raining. Michi got hot. Nelson threw one in. We haven't seen anybody, I don't think, this year go to a gimmick, what I'll call a gimmick defense, like a box and one. May have seen a flash against Juan maybe for a minute, but certainly first time this year we've seen a box and one against Michi. Don't blame him. He was on fire.
Yeah, he was on fire. It's interesting. He only hit 2 shots Monday night. Obviously, one of them was bigger than the other. He hit the buzzer beater.
Both of them were in the fourth quarter.
Exactly. But you can tell Honaker has seen Altavista play, and they don't like the fact that Malbach got hot in the first half. So you're right. Can't really blame him for going to the box and one. If you're not as much of a basketball fan as some of our listeners, the box and one is essentially just a hybrid between a zone and a man-to-man defense. You put one guy in each corner of the paint. They're playing a 4-man zone, and then you have one guy playing a man-to-man. Essentially, he's just chasing his man all around the court wherever he goes. And let's say this about Michi Malbach. He's got great energy in that first half. He was making whoever was guarding him get their money's worth. He was working hard.
He's got great energy all the time. And he was making that defender work extremely hard. And when you go to that what's essentially the box and one is, like you said, it's a 2-2 zone. Both shots, the weak spots are on the side on that. And that's a Nelson Dews. He took advantage of that one time.
Thornhill
Thornhill did as well. And that's the weak spot on that. and it also really opens up the middle for those players, for the Demetrius and Darius to flash in. Now they've got to be able to finish and finish strong and draw contact, which they have. And I'm not sure how many team fouls were called on each team, waiting on the stats for that.
I think it was 5 on the Colonels, 2 on Honaker. Don't quote me on that, but we will try and fill in the blanks later when we get the stats, like Oscar said. It's physical. They're letting them play. They could have called about 15 fouls each.
Yeah, and again, the players have adjusted to that relatively well. I would say that right now Honaker is just a little bit better. Darius and Demetrius not as much, but certainly Coach Carlero will work through that at halftime. It's interesting that you and I, as we exited the place Monday, were talking to Vince Myers, who's Midgie Malbeck's dad, and
one of the all-time Colonel greats as well, over 1,000-point scorer.
And probably one of the greatest athletes to ever go through Altavista High School, because he was equally as outstanding on the football field. But he was informing Michi. Michi said, it's difficult to shoot in this arena. And his dad was, coaching him, saying, son, you just got to shoot through it. Your stroke was good, and his shots were on line, just a little bit short or a little bit long. Obviously, that buzzer beater gave Michi some confidence.
Yeah.
Michi looked good in warm-ups with his three, and Nelson Dews was absolutely on fire pre-game with his shooting. So, maybe the first game back here in the arena after a year, hadn't played in an arena situation really. Maybe it took them that first game to get adjusted, but because they certainly looked good in the first half of this ball game.
Excellent point by you. Colonels come in at 24-3. That's 27 games. This is their 28th game. They've now hit a three-pointer in 26 of 28 games. So make no mistake, this team operates well from beyond the three-point arc. This is the Subway halftime show. We've been doing a lot of hellos, a lot of shout-outs. We've got some more to come. Sometimes it's tough to get them all in. But let's say again, Oscar, and you can piggyback on this and give your thoughts. Such an honor and a privilege to be not only here, but be with the Colonels all the time. We're one of the few radio stations that carries a team throughout the season. And, again, this is our 53rd year covering Altavista High School sports. We love it. We're proud to be part of the tradition. We like to think we got a pretty great tradition of our own. We've won the Virginia Association of Broadcasters award for best sports coverage at least 4 times now, maybe leaving out a 5th one. And we try to get it right. We try and do our best, and we really do appreciate that everybody listens, and we appreciate the coaches and the administrators for giving us the access and allowing us to have fun like we do. And it really is. You see so many great things. I mean, this is what's right about America. Not to get all patriotic here, honestly, but I mean, this is just a great atmosphere. It's an amazing place to come here at VCU, and the fact that the Colonels have been here 3 straight times makes it all the more wonderful.
And we do have full access to the program, whether it be the basketball program with Coach Cardallero, whether it be the football program with Coach Sharness, Dean Hubbard, Ty Gafford, athletic director and principal. They give us full access. We can ask any question we want to ask and get a straight answer, and they treat us extremely well. And we've got great seats for seeing high-class athletics, some wonderful athletes, and some great kids.
Yep, that's exactly right. Probably more so than the athletic park. Some great kids, some great human beings, great people to be around. And, again, let me talk about our sponsors. We couldn't do it without them. All the people around Altavista and Central Virginia, they get behind us. They get behind the Colonels. They're there for you. It's a community that pulls together. And, again, that's not just Altavista. That stretches across the entire Central Virginia area. They love to get behind high school sports. It's a great tradition. Our team, I mentioned Monday all the different color commentators that I've worked with. All been fantastic. We've had a fun time with everybody. Oscar, I feel like, I don't know if I'm your son or you're my son, or maybe we're just brothers, something like that. Bob Alvis, same way. Our sound engineer, Eleanor Hoehne, 100% A on the test every time. Our executive producers, Dave and Elizabeth. It's just it's a lot of fun. It really is, and we're probably maybe don't even realize how much fun we're having. I think you and I have stepped away and taken a broad perspective and said a few times, Altavista is really good. 4 state championships, 2 in basketball, 2 in football, trying for a 5th one here. It's a one-of-a-kind type of collection of team, of athletes on the team.
Yeah, and you don't know how often this type of situation will come along. It's certainly not very frequent that you can have a collection of athletes like this. But, hey, we're leading 30-24, and by no means is this ball game over. This is a very talented, very well-coached Honaker school. Colonel's going to have to battle, and they're going to have to close this game out. They need 16 more minutes of strong basketball.
Honaker crowd rises to its feet again. That means the third quarter is about to get underway. Subway halftime show is done. We didn't even get to take a commercial break. We were having so much fun. We'll mix it in there later. Don't worry about that. Honaker basketball in the front court after some hotly contested inbound defense by the Colonels. Thornhill gambled on the steal, couldn't get it, but he caused the steal on the back end. Forced the bad pass. They were looking for Robinette down low. That's a turnover.
Well, and that's where the physical play comes in. Donovan Montague was bodying up. Robinette was worried about getting Montague away from him. Montague leaning on him hard, was leaning the wrong direction, and when the pass came to the post, he couldn't adjust and get to it. Nice job defensively by the Colonels.
Demetrius catches at the free throw line. Good, off the window and in. Harmon used the bank earlier. Demetrius says, why not? I'll make a withdrawal. 32-24. Colonels up 8 now. Early stages of the third quarter here from the Siegel Center. Dye running to the hoop, cut off at the right edge of the paint and fouled. Not a lot of contact there, and Donovan Montague sort of scratching his head a little bit saying, wait a minute, I had a guy down in the suplex earlier, and you didn't call a foul, and that time I just breathed on him.
I agree with Donovan that they've let a lot of stuff go. That was a touch foul at best.
Yeah. First free throw off the back iron for Casey Dye. One more point, then we'll stick just to this ball game, Oscar. Great story in the 1A girls state final. Clintwood trying to win a state championship game in their last year of existence. They're going to consolidate next year, so here's a great sports story and a slice of Americana, too. 32-25. Dye hits the back half of the free throws. 7:15 left to play in the third quarter.
While the Colonels are out holding the ball quick, Michi with the first half. Michi with 11, Warren with 7, Demetrius with 5, Darius with 4, and Nelson with 3.
Very nice. Darius had it stripped away. They're going to call a foul there. Another time, and let's be fair to both teams there, Honaker probably saying the same thing.
That's
you
right.
barely breathed on him, and you called a foul there. Earlier, you were letting the Greco-Roman wrestling match take place. Either way, Colonels are going to benefit. They'll inbound on the baseline. Thornhill, left-hand corner, eyes the rim. Now long pass back to midcourt to Michi Malbeck. Malbeck overhead left sideline to Juan. Juan, right-hand dribble, stops, returns it to Michi. Michi, pull-up, 17-footer, front of the iron, no good. Robinette paused the rebound down off the rim for Honaker, and they're going the other way on the attack quickly.
They're trying to push the ball. Lester
lost it, had it poked away. It was Montague that did the honors, but he had some help. A bunch of guys swarmed on him. Altavista.
In the first half for Honaker, Casey Dye with 7, Lester with 5, Harmon with 4, and Robinette with 8.
32-25, Colonels lead, turnover there. Thornhill was on the right sideline. He tried to throw it all the way across court, about a 45-foot pass to the left sideline. Did not reach its intended target, ended up in the Colonel bench. 6:27 left to play in the Select Air third quarter.
And you love the communication with this team.
Oh, always talking on defense, always pointing out spots where to go. Same thing on offense. Robinette has it, right-hand post, handled hard by a couple Colonel defenders. His shot, he pushed to the side of the rim and wouldn't fall, but he is going to head to the free throw line to take a stab at 2 from the charity strike.
And that's on Darius. And after a very liberal first half where they weren't calling anything, now they're calling everything.
Got to adjust, got to get ready. It's like the strike zone for an umpire in baseball. You just always got to be adaptable and be able to move around, change your game. Nelson Dews will check in the basketball game now. Robinette sinks the first one for Honaker. And, of course, Honaker, the home of UVA great and Pittsburgh Steeler great Heath Miller. Had a fun time going down there for football in the state semifinal. Robinette cashes in both. 32-27. Colonels can't extend the lead out too much here in the early stages of the third quarter. See what happens on this possession. Looks like the standard. No, I think it's the box and one again. Although Caleb Sample is doing the honors on Malbeck, he's giving him a little more of a cushion right now, Oscar.
Yeah, Michi taking him way outside. They are still in that box and one.
Dews catches left sideline, no dribble yet, now bounces it to Malbeck.
Big battle underneath with Darius and Robinette.
Demetrius is set up in the high post, Darius in the low post. Michi just dribbling out, killing some time, near midcourt. Thornhill's going to do the same. He'll force Casey Dye to come out and maybe administer a 5-second count. Thornhill, shake and bake dribble with the right, now the left hand. Really works the ball well when he tries those crossovers. Gets on the side of the ball, but is cautious not to get under it. Now he's double-teamed in the baseline corner. Up top it goes to Malbeck. Malbeck circling to his left, driving, kick out to Nelson Dews. In and out, three won't fall. Harmon snatches a rebound on the baseline for Hoehne. Here comes Dye.
Nice shot by Nelson. It went down and just spun out.
It was. Dye got to the three-point line, kicked it back out. Oh, they lob it down low for Robinette. Robinette with the jam, and he got in Malbeck's face to do it. Probably could have argued that Michi fouled him. Michi skied up to try and wipe it off the rim. Robinette says, no, sir. I'll dump it down with the left-hand jam. Again, 32-29. Colonels up 3. All of a sudden, it's a Honaker advantage. They seem to have the momentum. Nelson Dews driving, bodied up. No, timeout. Coach Mike Carlero's called a timeout as Nelson was going to the bucket. Let's take it with him. Altavista 32, Honaker 29. It's state final action from VCU on 105.5 KD Country.
Some people have never tried food at a Mexican restaurant. So we asked Chad Shelton from Shelton's Plumbing and Heating about his experience.
I wasn't so sure what the green stuff was, but they slipped some on my plate one day, and now I won't have a meal without guacamole. Still can't spell it.
At El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, if you have questions, they give you the answers in English. Mexican and American foods, affordable prices, and fast service. Try it today. El Cazador, Main Street, Altavista.
Here's more award-winning high school sports with Kyle and Oscar on 105.5 KD Country.
32-29. The Altavista Colonels lead in the third quarter here in 1A state final action. 5-2 run for Honaker to start the third quarter, Oscar. That doesn't seem like a lot, but in these state final games, a little bit can end up being a lot. You saw that with the Colonels' 2-point win over Galax Monday.
Well, they certainly have picked up, Honaker certainly has picked up their intensity here in this third quarter.
Tigers have looked good in the third quarter. Altavista, body language looks good, smiles on the faces. Everybody's still having a good time. Things were a little grim there against Galax a few times. The Altavista Colonels didn't have their usual pep in their step, and they looked a little disorganized, discombobulated, and any other word that you can put a dis in front of, I guess. End up getting the win, though, by 2. Up 3 here against a game-and-ready Tiger squad. Thornhill between the circles now lofts it over to Nelson Dews, right wing. Nelson, 3-ball short, but Demetrius there for the rebound. Stick back high off the window and in. Hit above the square, then the front of the iron, and finally dropped in. 34-29. Nice answer there out of the timeout for Altavista.
That was a huge adjustment on that shot by Demetrius, too.
Harmon catches at the free throw line. Jumper good from 15 feet for Casey Harmon. He was originally looking for Robinette down low. Colonel sloughed off of him. Harmon said, I'll knock down the jumper, too.
Well, I think that's fine. You make Harmon beat you with that shot.
Demetrius Johnson, baseline dribble. Hit hard. Robinette gave him the body there, knocked him to the deck. He's fouled. Shot hit the side of the iron, did not fall. Demetrius Johnson's going to shoot a pair of free throws with 4:02 left to play in the Select Air third quarter. 34-21. Colonels on top.
And that's Robinette's first foul.
Wow. He had a little bit of foul trouble in their semifinal Monday. Picked up 2 in the first quarter. They sat him out for about 4 minutes. He played pretty much the entire rest of the game. First free throw for Demetrius, a little too strong. Third quarter is brought to you by Select Air. Donnie and the gang, who are huge basketball fans, by the way, will fix any electrical or mechanical problem, including ACs, heat pumps, plumbing, and more. And they'll be at your house fast, usually within 45 minutes or less. Demetrius, that time the free throw was too short.
By Harmon.
Darius Johnson was the one that got just really shoved into the baseline area by Harmon. Oscar, you're dead on there. Colonels are going to get the basketball back.
I don't like the call simply because of the way that the game was officiated in the first half. Let the players adapt. You change up on them, it's difficult. All you're looking for is the players' consistency.
And these officials didn't get here for no reason. This is a good crew. They're working hard out there just like the players. Bounce to the baseline to Demetrius Johnson. He skies up again from the right side, and he is fouled. Brother Darius tries to step in front of Tanner Robinette after the play, and I'm assuming he didn't really care for the way Robinette treated Brother Demetrius.
No, Demetrius he had a hold of his leg when he came down. He kind of held him up.
Yeah.
Demetrius landed on that shoulder Certainly don't like that either.
I think Robinette was actually trying to keep Demetrius from hitting the deck hard. But he may have said something, and it may just have had the appearance of something Darius didn't like. Demetrius is on the free throw line again with 3:49 left to play in the Select Air third quarter. That one's good. 35-31, Colonels lead. Demetrius now has 10 on the night. He and Malbeck are the only Colonels in double figures right now. Thornhill with 7 so far in the ball game. Second free throw on the way for the right-handed shooting Demetrius Johnson. You have never seen Demetrius Johnson. He's well put together at 6'3", got a full head of hair, wears the glasses, muscular body type. Thornhill with the steal at midcourt. He just got a fingertip in front of the pass that was intended for Casey Dye. Here comes Juan with some excitement and some energy. Right wing, it goes over to Nelson Dews. Bounces back to Juan between the circles. Juan fakes a pass back to Nelson Dews. Nelson, free ball, bullseye. Nelson Dews has hit his second three-pointer of the night. The cash box is open for the Colonels from long range. Another timeout for the Honaker Tigers. Altavista up 7, 3.5 left to play in the third quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
Virginia's oldest and most experienced bus company, Sunny Merriman Incorporated, along with their employees and families, joined together to congratulate the Altavista High School athletic teams for their outstanding sports seasons. Sunny Merriman wishes you the best in the playoffs and in your quest to bring home more state championship trophies to our community. Go Colonels! Make us proud.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
Altavista 38, Honaker 31. The Colonels taking on another team from the mountains of Southwest Virginia. And Oscar, let me talk about Nelson Dews for a second, since he has the hot hand. Just played 10 minutes in the ball game against Galax. It really didn't even feel like that long. Nelson, cool, calm, collected, always ready. Has hit some big shots tonight.
Yeah, and he stroked early. He hit the first one he shot, then he missed 2 or 3. But still, no hesitancy by Nelson on that. He continues to step up, and with that boxing one that they're playing, if the Colonels, Juan's not as consistent as Nelson is, he can hit the big one. So let's give credit to Nelson.
Absolutely. Nelson Dews guarding the basketball in the hands of Casey Dye now. Now it's over to Harmon. Colonels look like they might be in a 1-3-1 zone now, Oscar. Harmon, long strides to the dish, lays it in with 2 hands. Nice play by the big man, Casey Harmon at 6'5". Scoreboard was wrong. They added the points for Altavista. It's 38-33 now. Colonels back up 5. I dare say it feels a little closer than that. Under 3 minutes to play in the third.
Still a 2-possession game at any point, so, yeah, it's close.
Colonel's going to take a little air out of the ball, milk the clock. Honaker in the zone. Altavista's going to try and make him extend the zone. Now they do throw it to the free throw line to Demetrius Johnson.
They've gone back to a more traditional, or maybe not.
Hard to tell sometimes with that box and one. It looks like they're giving Thornhill some special emphasis. I don't think it's quite the triangle and 2 defense, but
it's almost like it's a 1-2-2, and they're sending the point out chasing.
That could be it, and I think this is part
of the 1-3-1.
Yeah.
More and more what it looks like.
It is. Demetrius, free throw line, catch again, 2 dribbles right to the side of the hoop. Shot won't go in, rebound is loose. Loose ball kicked out of bounds off of Honaker. Yeah, I think the Colonels had as much trouble diagnosing it as we did.
I think it's a 1-3-1, and Demetrius did a nice job getting to the hoop, and I think he heard footsteps, made a little bit of an over-adjustment. He had a layup if he'd have taken it.
Thornhill's going to inbound this one. Going to throw it long in the backcourt. 60-foot pass goes to Michi Malbeck, and Michi will trot it into the forecourt for the Colonels. Hands it right back off to Thornhill. 2:02 left to play in the third quarter. Colonels up 5. 17-footer from Demetrius straight away. Won't fall. Rebound is loose. Harmon just rips it away from a couple Colonels. He's a tough kid,
He's a specimen, I'm telling you right now.
Absolutely. He reminds people of Heath Miller, and you can see why. Basketball out of bounds. Casey Dye overzealous on the pass attempt, trying to throw it over the Colonel defense, and it never found its intended target. Altavista up 5 with the ball. 47 left to play in the quarter.
Altavista Pep Band made the journey. Got here, looked like might have got here a little bit late, but they're sounding large and certainly add to this Colonel's crowd and give it a little bit of a home field advantage, home court advantage here. Thanks to the Pep Band for what they do.
Yep. The chant from the arena comes out, let's go Colonels. Maybe you can hear that on your radio dial. Malback, NBA range 3, no good, but there's Demetrius skying for the rebound, the stick back, count it. Demetrius Johnson. Powerful play right there to rise up and grab the board. Colonels 7-point lead. Dye quickly to the backboard and is fouled. Shot won't fall. He'll have a chance at some free throws. 40-33. Colonels back up 7, but Dye can change that from the charity stripe here with 1:18 left to play
Dye,
in the quarter.
Yeah, Dye 3 for 6 from the line tonight. Better free throw shooter than that for the season.
First one up for Dye. Hands it. On the court right now for the Altavista Colonels. In the road black jerseys. Orange trim. Michi Malback. Nelson Dews. Darius Johnson. Juan Thornhill. And Demetrius Johnson. Colonels working left to right from our perspective here, courtside at the media table from the Siegel Center in Richmond. Second one up for Dye. Soft touch won't fall, though. Rebounded nicely by Darius Johnson from the left side of the hoop. Thornhill going to trot it in the front court. Lost the basketball momentarily. Nelson Dews lost it now. Poked away from the backside by Dye. Dye is pesky, active, and smart.
Yes, he is.
Those are 3 qualities of great defender.
So is Michi Malback.
Yep. Malback got the steal. Up ahead to Nelson Dews. Back to Michi. Michi had it blocked away by Casey Harmon. That's a foul. Harmon knocked him on the head.
Harmon didn't like the call. Honaker didn't like the call, but he got him in the top of the head. It was up top. He was clean with the ball.
Yeah, the hand on the ball was fine, but I think the forearm bumped Michi's head.
That's
Michi
what the
was going
official
up.
said. Excuse me, Kyle.
No, you're fine. 4th one on Casey Harmon. Hey, man, you see it. Just shout it out. It's like the Colonels' defense. Always got to be communicating, right? First one goes in for Michi Malback. 41-34. Colonels extend the lead just a bit. Harmon's going to sit down and take a break.
And
he's not happy. He said something officially
he
went by. You better be careful about doing that.
I mean, that was in solidarity out there on the floor. I mean, in solitude. Excuse me.
I like Casey Harmon. He's a great player, fun to watch, but you really got to be careful, especially when you got 4 fouls.
Yeah, you pick up the technical and you're done.
Malback missed the second free throw. Honaker basketball. Free throw line. This is Coleman. Coleman lost it. Donovan Montague just went in there and grabbed it away from him.
That's exactly right. And
Donnie back on the court. Nelson Dews goes out for a breather. Thornhill, 40 seconds left. Drives. Underhand pass to Darius Johnson. Johnson's shot knocked away. Malback gets it on the redirect after the loose ball. Michi's going to slow things down, circle the defense, take it to the half court, circle. Got 25 seconds left to play in the quarter. Colonels appear to be holding for one.
And they've done a good job getting into the body of Robinette, but to Robinette's credit, he's done a good job deflecting some of those shots and causing problems for the Colonels. He's had a good game.
He's crafty, and at 6'8", you can just stand straight up and still be a shot
Oh,
blocker.
my goodness.
Malback, shake and bake move, fell down, lost the basketball, tried to pitch it away while he was on the way to the deck, but couldn't. 4 seconds left. Here's Lester. Kick out pass to Sample. Sample for 3. No good. Tip back. No good. There's the horn to end the third, Oscar.
Well, let's take it to break, Kyle.
Absolutely. 41-34. Altavista on top. The reigning and defending state champions trying to make it a three-peat. 8 minutes away from it. You better not miss this 8 minutes of basketball. It's all live on 105.5 KD Country.
Life happens. Divorce, family problems, criminal charges, civil litigation, personal injury cases. Turn to David W. Shreve, an experienced attorney at law. David W. Shreve has been practicing law for 30-plus years. Free consultation for personal injury cases. Call today, 369-6621. 369-6621. David W. Shreve. Good luck to the Altavista basketball team in the playoffs. Go Colonels. David W. Shreve, located 7th Street, Altavista.
Back to the press box for high school sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels are 8 minutes away from hoisting another state championship trophy. It would be their 4th in basketball, their 3rd in as many years, 41-34. What a game, Oscar. What a season. What a career. Colonels can put the cherry on top right here. But, and this is a big but, Honaker is going to have a say in this one for sure.
Yeah, they will have a say. And you got to wonder if Coach Carolero is going to really spread this offense out and make them come out of that zone.
Jacob Waller is tuned in down in the Ringgold area. And, of course, Dan River fans getting ready for a possible back-to-back state title. Rooting hard for the Wildcats. They play later on. I think they play at 1:30. Juan Thornhill, 5 feet inside the half-court stripe for the Colonels. No dribble yet. Flips it over to Michi Malback. Malback, left-hand dribble to his left. Now he whips it down to Demetrius Johnson. Right wing extended. Michi's a full 45 feet away from the hoop. Goes down to Thornhill on the far sideline. Yep, Colonels are playing the stall ball here. Lob play. Oh, Michi thought Juan was going to go to the dish. He threw it up near the rim. There was nobody home. Turnover there for Altavista. See if Honaker can cash in on it. 7:23 left to play in the Select Air fourth quarter. Dye driving, soft touch with the right-hand floater. Won't fall, but there's the big cat, Robinette. Robinette is blocked away. He said something to Thornhill as he went by.
Well, that's okay. I like the foul by Donovan because Robinette was at point-blank range. Went up with that little left-handed jump shot he has from about 3 feet. It was probably a short two. At least you're going to make it earn it.
Agreed. 41-34. Colonels up 7. Robinette first one, a little short. Won't fall in. 7:15 left to play in the Select Air fourth quarter. Call 332-2600. That's 332-2600 for Select Air Mechanical and Electrical. Honaker crowd still on their feet. Colonel crowd has been vocal and boisterous. Hasn't been standing a whole lot, though. Maybe they're trying to conserve their energy. Basketball out of bounds on the missed free throw. Last touched off one of the brothers Johnson. They were both there in the left-hand corner, but couldn't race it down. 41-34.
And Darius and Demetrius continue to show their love for each other.
Oh, yeah.
On that play.
Overhead pass goes to the left corner. That's Jacob Coleman. Coleman cross-court pass to Lester. Hunter Lester driving, bodied up. Offensive foul. Juan Thornhill doing the honors. Juan got the feet set. Hunter Lester rose up, but Juan beat him to the spot right there. 16 foul on Honaker. That means Altavista's shooting on the next one.
Lester with 5 points early in the ball game has been a non-factor. Colonels have done a good job. He led them in scoring Monday with 24, and the Colonels have done a good job taking that option away from Honaker Tigers.
Thornhill into the front court, right-hand dribble. He is bodied up by Casey Dye along the right sideline. That's pretty far away from the basket. That's the 7th team foul. That means Juan Thornhill going to shoot a 1-and-1. And speaking of fouls, I'll ask you, Oscar, when do you think we'll see the 6'5 grinder, Casey Harmon, get back out on the court for Honaker? He can't stay on that bench much longer.
No, you can't. You're trailing by 7. You can't leave him on the sideline much longer. If this gets to double digits, you'll see him right then for sure. Juan at the free throw line now, shooting 1-and-1.
6:54 left to play in the Select Air fourth quarter. Juan missed badly, and he's just going to try and laugh that one off. He did not draw iron. That's about the only kink in Thornhill's game or his armory.
Well, we talked
only about 40% from the free throw line.
We
Foul
talked
away from the basketball. Go ahead.
We talked about free throw shooting all year long and how important it's been, and the Colonels have been streaky, spotty, not consistent. Well, guess what? Leading 41-34, 6:45 remaining here in the ball game. You're going to see them shoot some free throws here in the fourth quarter, and that's what it's going to take for them to win this ball game.
That's right. Inbound play for the Tigers. They got it in the front court. That's Coleman. Free throw line is Sample. Sample kick out to Hunter Lester. Hunter Lester, high arcing three, too strong. Robinette on the rebound. Stick back won't go. He's got it back again. This time he goes around to the left side of the hoop and gets it to go in. Crafty play right there. He was on the right side of the bucket. He worked his body and his head to the left and stuck it in with the left hand. Thornhill dishes to Demetrius Johnson at the top of the key. Now it's Maul back and a back it out near half court. Michi, right hand dribble to the hoop. Straight line drive.
Nice.
Battles it in. Nice English on the lay-in for Michi Malback, number 1.
And that's 5'7" going against 6'8". He did a great job of using his body to keep Robinette away from him. Great job.
No fear going in there for Malback. 43-36. Colonels on top. Here's Dye driving. Lay-in won't fall. It was contested. Couple Colonels there. Thornhill and Montague, the main ones involved in hindering Dye's shot, and it's Altavista basketball on the rebound.
It's 36-43. You got 5:45 remaining. If you're Honaker, you gotta get Harmon back in the game.
I agree with you. Malback driving again. Lay-in falls. Michi Malback again with the slash-o-matic drive to the rim. He's got the last two in virtually the same fashion. 45-36. Colonels up 9.
They're going to try to feed the beast. That's going to be their MO from here on in.
I think you have to. They throw it into Robinette, mid-post right side. Blocked away.
Darius.
Blocked away by Darius Johnson. Donovan was there helping out. Thornhill Just going to take his time. Wants to ease it into the front court. Has to hurry, though. Double team momentarily, and now he's swatted on the arm. Another 1-on-1 situation coming for the Magic Man, Juan Thornhill. He can put the Colonels up double figures. They're up 9 right now. 5:12 left to play in the Select Air fourth quarter. And right on cue, the big man, 6'5", Casey Harmon, checking back into the ball game. Again, Honaker has two big men, 6'8", Tanner Robinette, and 6'5", Casey Harmon. They're both very good. Thornhill going to toe the charity stripe. First one's up, in and out, no good. That one looked a lot better. Much better rhythm, much better stroke from Juan. 5:05 left to play in the game. Dive for 3, off the mark, no good, too strong. Rebound collected after a loose ball ping pong. Michi Malbeck has it in his hands for the Colonels. A lot of one and done from Honaker lately, too, Oscar. Colonel
Not for Michi Malbeck.
Malbeck fakes the pass, rises to the rim, lays it in again with the right hand.
Boxing one, not enough. Michi Malbeck has taken over this fourth quarter.
What a play by Mr. Michi Malbeck. Timeout on the court. Colonels up 11. We've got 4:51 left to play in regulation on 105.5 KD Country.
My friends call me the perfectionist, but English's Building Supply, my neighborhood Glidden paint dealer, they greet me by name. You see, I like to get things exactly right, especially when it comes to my painting projects. So I'm at English's Building Supply a lot, whether it's mixing the perfect Glidden paint for my project or offering great incentives. They do business just the way I like it, perfectly. English's on North Main Street, Altavista.
Your high school sports station with award-winning coverage on 105.5 KD Country.
11-point advantage for the Altavista Colonels. Mr. Michi Malbeck, the slash-o-matic drive, knifing through the defense of the Honaker Tigers time and time again. You heard Oscar mention it. They tried a boxing one on him earlier. I don't know what you can do when Michi's got this kind of flavor and seasoning to his game right now.
Has he been out of the game tonight?
I don't think Michi Malbeck has spent any time on the bench tonight for the Altavista Colonels. 47-36. Colonels in front, but it's not over yet. 4:51 left to play in the Select Air fourth quarter. Honaker basketball after the timeout. Michi scored 20 against Surrey. That's his season high. They were looking to lob it down low to Robinette, but it didn't get there. Malbeck on the steal. Up ahead to Thornhill. Juan with the right-handed jam from no man's land. Where did he come from?
Oh, my goodness.
He was at full extension. Thornhill took off from outside the paint. Malbeck shoveled it over to him, and he flushed it home with the jackhammer right-handed pounding jam.
And Harmon was in the vicinity of that. He had his fourth foul. He could have none of that.
The roof came off of this place, Oscar. You've had a lot of people that have heard about Thornhill. He's going to UVA on the football scholarship next year. They're saying, what's this Magic Man all about? You saw it right there. His second one of the night. Hit a two-handed alley-ooper earlier. Great job by Malbeck in transition, by the way. 49-36. Colonels on top. Robinette, turnaround hook shot is good. Nice play there by the big man to give Honaker some much-needed points. They're back down 11. We're halfway through the fourth quarter. Malbeck bodied up a couple times. Now the whistle finally comes out. And Michi's going to get a chance to score some more from the free throw line.
Again, 49-38. Colonels leading by 11 with 4:05. They're going to have to salt this thing away. Honaker's going to make them beat them from the free throw line. I think it's absolutely the right strategy.
I think you have to. I mean, you pick your poison. Malbeck's a 70% free throw shooter, as are both brothers, Demetrius and Darius Johnson. Michi, good form, splashes down the first one, 50-38. 4:05 left to play in the fourth.
And another key factor, that's the ninth on Honaker from here on in. The Colonels will be shooting two. It won't be just 1 and 1.
Good point. Great point, actually, Oscar. With two chances, much better than the 1 and 1. Both of them go in on this trip for Michi Malbeck, 51-38.
Michi now with 20 on the ball game.
That ties the season high. I got a feeling he's got more in store for us. Harmon, kick-out pass, swatted away by Donovan Montague. They were looking for Hunter Lester to shoot a three in the left-hand corner. Montague rose up using the 6'5" frame and the very good vertical leap to swat that ball out of bounds into the press table.
Michi Malbeck continuing to talk on defense.
And he's got another steal. Little help from the teammates. Michi off the backboard. DeWan with the dunk. Oh, my goodness. Something you would only see in a dunk contest or perhaps a YouTube video. Thornhill has achieved the impossible with the pass off the window from Michi Malback. Just when you think you saw everything, Oscar, the Colonels throw one more play at you. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And the thing of it is it, on the play before that, on the devastating block by Donovan, Michi looked over and did the old Matumbo finger wave at him and said, no.
Robinette is on the free throw line. That will miss. Basketball out of bounds. My goodness. Malback got the steal after a pinball type of play. He caught it around the three-point line of Honaker, raced it into the front court, saw that Thornhill was in the rearview mirror, just lobbed it off the backboard. Juan rises up, catches it, throws it home with a two-handed jam that, again, is usually reserved for NBA dunk contests. Ball back, pull up,
shot.
Pull up 16-footer, no good. Little too strong. Probably had the adrenaline going, much like these two broadcasters. 53-38. Colonels on top. Honaker basketball again. Long three from Harmon off the front of the iron, too short. Montague on the rebound, controlled, and he is fouled. I'm telling you, folks.
That was about as good a 2 minutes of basketball as we've seen.
Absolutely.
Take away that Middlesex quarter.
Yeah.
But boy, oh boy, what a 2 minutes of basketball that was to just take charge of this ball game. Again, 53-38 with 3:10 remaining. It's not over by a long shot.
It's not over.
But
You're
boy,
right.
oh boy, if you're Honaker, you got to wonder if it's time to start the buses or not.
You have to hurry if you're Honaker, and you probably have to play perfect basketball from here on out. Even that might not be enough as Montague sinks the first free throw. 54-38, 3:10 left to play. The energy in the Siegel Center is electric. Crowd is on their feet. Colonel fans are going crazy. And I'll tell you what, if you're not on your feet at home, you might want to get there soon. Missed free throw from Montague, but the rebound tracked down from Darius Johnson. Steal there by Casey Dye. No numbers, going to push it to the rim instead. Harmon grabbed onto the rim there on the mid shot.
He was trying for the dunk, and probably not the play that Coach wanted out of him in that play.
Colonels control after the rebound. Malback just now getting into the front court. Took about 8 seconds of the backcourt allotment.
They're still packed in. Coach Carlero is going to make them come out and guard them.
Absolutely. 2:40 left to play. Colonels have the floor spread. Old four corners look right here. Malback is a foot inside half court. Thornhill the same way. Montague the same way. Juan's on the right. Donnie's on the left. The brothers Johnson are in the left and right corners, respectively. Now Donovan will dribble. He's fouled by Casey Dye, and Donovan's going to go to the free throw line and shoot two for the Altavista Colonels. I mean, when you get a play like that, Juan had the alley-oop dunk earlier in the first half, Oscar. That was huge. He had the right-handed jam where he was seemingly out of range, and he stuffed it in. And then the off-the-backboard alley-oop. I don't care who you are. If you're a basketball fan, if you're a Honaker fan, if you're a human being, you have to be in awe of that. And you have to rise to your feet and cheer when you see a play like that. You have to.
Yeah. I mean, we came out of our seats.
Yeah. And we've seen a lot of those from Thornhill. I mean, the Magic Man has done it all. He's going to do it all again, I'm sure. Oscar calls him EA Thornhill because the things that he does are normally reserved for video games. 54-38. Montague misses the first free throw, a little too short. 2:24 left to play in regulation. Colonels can sense it. They can feel it. Second one up from Donnie is good. Nice rhythm, nice action on the shot. Gets it to fall from the free throw line. Honaker in the front court. Got to hurry and can't be choosy about the shot selection. He lost the basketball again. This time it's off of Hunter Lester.
No, and let's talk about something. You know, Honaker sat here and watched them play against Galax in a very low-scoring, tight ball game, and you got to wonder if Honaker said, you know what, I don't know what all this noise about this Altavista team is. Yes. Here in the third and fourth quarter, the Colonels have showed them what Altavista basketball is.
My bad. Colonels break the press right there, and now they lost it, I believe. A little too fancy in the pass. No, maybe out of bounds last touch off Honaker. Hard to see on the angles. Yeah, Altavista is going to retain possession in the front court.
And you talked about the first dunk that Juan had on out of bounds.
Look out again. Juan was going there. They bumped him out of there.
I looked
Didn't mean
up.
to cut you off.
No, you're fine. I looked up at the Honaker crowd when that happened, and I saw a bunch of people with their jaws wide open.
Had to be. I'm telling you, you just don't see stuff like that You don't even see it in regular NBA games. Malback slashing again. Left-hand finish won't fall this time.
Colonel's getting all the loose balls, all the offensive rebounds.
More active, outworking Honaker.
And we're under 2 minutes.
Yep. Thornhill fouled at midcourt. Probably the right play there by number 12, Jacob Coleman, to send Juan Thornhill to the free throw line. 1:51 left to play in regulation. The Colonels are just right around the corner from a third straight state championship. Reigning and defending 1A state champions. 9 teams have done it in VHSL history, won 3 in a row, that is. Bland, the only small school that has done it. So the Colonels, already in the history books, can get there a few more times. First one from Juan, no good. Second one, no good as well.
He's 0 for him from the line tonight.
Not sure it matters. He's made up for it in a lot of other ways. Thornhill playing defense 5 feet in front of us right now. It's along the near sideline.
He wants
sample.
Juan wants one more. I can tell you that right now.
Absolutely.
And I'm not talking about a free throw.
Oh, there's a dunk right there from Tanner Robinette. And a timeout from Marcus Dunham. Let's take one as well. 30-second variety. Colonels, they've got 96 seconds before they can hoist a third straight trophy. They're up by 15, 55-40 on 105.5 KD Country.
For more than 103 years, we've offered special banking assistance to many nonprofit organizations. I'm Kathy Morgan with First National Bank, and we have a checking account just for nonprofits and faith-based organizations that has no minimum balance requirement and no monthly maintenance fee. We also specialize in offering financing when your group needs a loan. So come see us at First National Bank, and we'll provide your organization with an extraordinary customer experience. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Now back to the action with Colonel Sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels starting to put on a show, Oscar. They're up by 15. Got some more folks enjoying the show.
Yeah, and we talked about people long distance listening. Lori Rigler in Arizona, formerly of Altavista. Sure, she's still an Altavista fan at heart. She's listening. We certainly miss the Rigler family and their presence in Altavista, Scott and the kids.
And I know we got a lot more listening that maybe we haven't heard about or just couldn't get to. Our apologies, but hello, whoever you are, Colonel fans, Mr. and Mrs. Basketball fan, real treat in this one. Juan Thornhill's going to do the honors on the inbound. The deuce has been loose. Number 2, Juan Thornhill, has done a lot here in this ball game, putting his stamp on it as he usually does. Steal there. Casey Harmon has it. Thornhill tried to block. Harmon went for the dunk. Just going to have to settle for the lay-in, rolling over the top of the rim. Thornhill going to inbound again. Full court pressure from Honaker. They throw it up ahead near sideline to Donovan Montague. Montague bodied up, maintained his feet. Now down low, left-hand post. It goes to Darius Johnson. That shot won't fall.
Colonel's getting a little sloppy here.
Yeah, too quick of a shot there for Coach Mike Cartalero's liking. Free ball up from Lester. No good. Long rebound controlled in the middle of the paint by Darius Johnson. Colonel's moving it well in the backcourt. Malback, left sideline, weaving his way through traffic. Up ahead to Demetrius Johnson. Bounces it softly to brother Darius. They broke the press. Honaker couldn't get back in time. That's a 2-point bucket.
And
Darius Johnson.
Demetrius had an easy path to the basket, and just as we've seen the unselfish play out of this team.
Robinette to the hoop again. Another two-handed jam. Not a lot of defense being played right now by either party. 57-44. Colonel's on top. Malback lost it. Kicked out of bounds. Last touch off of Caleb Sample there for Honaker. We have 37.7 seconds left to play.
It looks like an NBA All-Star game's broken out.
Coach Cartalero is going to sub out the 5 starters. This is an amazing scene right here. Crowd on its feet. Michi Malback holds up the 3 fingers to the crowd, signifying the third straight. On the court right now for the Colonels, Jordan Witcher, Josh McClure, Nelson Dews, who has been huge in this game, by the way, Mateo Malback, and Chancellor Mormon.
Hey, this looks a lot like maybe your starting 5 next year.
There you go. Absolutely. 57-44. Colonel's on top with 30 seconds left. I don't know if Marcus Dunham is going to foul. I see him.
It looks like he's instructed him not to here.
He wants his team to continue to play defense, play hard, play with some pride, some courage, but the writing is on the wall. We're down to 20 seconds left. There's a timeout from Coach Mike Cartalero. Maybe going to bring in some more subs.
He thought there was going to be a 5-second call. He didn't want that to.
Yeah, let's keep it here because this is a 30-second timeout. We just got a little bit late to it. Coach C may take another one to put some more subs in. We'll just have to see. 57-44, 19.7 seconds left. Colonels survive on Monday against Galax. They are really tested in the first half and the first part of the third quarter in this one, Oscar. And then they started pulling away.
Yeah, then the machine that we've seen all year, I don't know if it was nerves. Certainly Galax's game plan almost worked, but certainly the well-oiled machine that we've come to know and love and enjoy watch took over in that third quarter and again, just exerted their dominance.
What a game. What a game. We'll have a chance to recap it all in the Subway post-game show. We'll recap the season, and we'll try our best to recap the careers of these 5 great seniors. They're going to have 3 state rings here in about 12 seconds. Here we go. Colonel crowd, it's been on their feet for most of the half. Thornhill's on his feet over there on the bench. He wants his team to score a little bit more, I think. Down to 3 seconds. Colonels do it. They win a 3rd straight title, 57-44. The Altavista Colonels, unmatched, unbelievable, and unforgettable. A team for the ages. Subway postgame show turns into a Subway celebration show. When you come back, you heard every second of the season live on 105.5 KD Country.
Brother needs a pickup, sister wants a ride. Uncle needs a sports car to keep him satisfied. Mama, she wants comfort, luxury and style. And Daddy, he just wants a deal that's gonna make him smile. Everybody's happy, you can hear them all say, we're glad we went to Fellers Chevrolet. Competition for all dealers in Central VA. A short drive will save you money. Fellers Chevrolet in Altavista.
Hello, this is Mitch Haley with Altavista Appliance, Home and Lawn Center. I would like to take this time to thank KD Country for the advertising opportunities they have provided me this past year. I would also like to thank our customers for making 2014 such a great year. It is because of your continuous support that we are able to expand our business and offer you more than we ever had in 2015. Come see us today at Altavista Appliance, Home and Lawn Center, where you can shop small and save big.
Visit their newly remodeled showroom on 7th Street.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving family since 1905. Personal, memorable memorial moments, celebrating life and more. Pre-arrangements with confidence, trust and care from our family to yours. Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving family since 1905.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
Subway celebration show is on once again from the Siegel Center. The Altavista Colonels, 57-44 over the Honaker Tigers. What a game, Mr. Briggs. And the Colonels, well, they did it in typical Altavista fashion with some seriously death-defying stunts. No net needed here for this high wire act. The Colonels, 57-44, 3 state championships in a row.
Boy, and they did it like we said. It was a very tightly contested game. At the end of the one, it was tied 14-all. Colonels forged ahead a little bit, 30-24. At the end of the third, it was 41-34. It was still a 7-point ball game, but as that fourth quarter came, Michi Malbeck decided enough was enough and he took over. He had 8 in that fourth quarter. He took charge of this ball game and both ends of the floor.
Michi with the drives to the lane like he was doing, this slash-o-matic, knifing through the Honaker defense like it was soft butter, and it was not soft butter. That was a good Honaker defense, but Michi made them look a little soft at times there. Michi was huge. Nelson Dews was huge with the big threes off the bench. The brothers Johnson, where they were their usual selves, just tracking down rebounds, wiping balls off the glass, scoring points. And then this Thornhill guy, he's not bad, huh, Oscar?
No, he's fun to watch. As we get into some of the stats a little bit later, they're giving the awards now. But in each quarter, Michi had 8 in the first quarter. And then they put that boxing one on him. He only scored 3. But guess what? Juan had 5. Demetrius had 3. The usual distribution. Then in the third quarter, Michi only had 1. But Demetrius got to the line, started getting down low, got 7. He led them in that quarter, and then the fourth quarter, it was the Juan and Michi show. So, another team effort. It was obvious to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that we talked about it at the half, that the length and the athleticism and the speed really played in. That I think that Honaker just didn't have an answer. They don't have enough depth to do that. They're very well coached, a bunch of great athletes, a lot of drive, a lot of heart, but they're certainly feeling disappointed, but they don't have anything to hang their heads about. They gave this Altavista team that was, let's face it, they were on a mission. They were not going to be denied, but they gave them a run today.
Certainly did. They knew they had a tall task in front of them. They knew all about the Colonels. How could you not? I mean, everybody's heard about them. Everybody's talked about them. Honaker was ready for the challenge. They had a good game plan, and the wrinkle that they threw in with the box and one was great. I thought it was a fantastic decision by Coach Marcus Dunham. But unfortunately, like you said, this potent combination, and it's rare to see a combination so potent, but the Colonels have one, of athleticism, of size, of speed, of shooting, of basketball knowledge. It's the whole 9 yards. It's everything. And a great coach to boot that got them ready. Great coaching staff, I should also add, that got them ready. Amazing stuff. Let's take a quick time out here in the Subway postgame show because we'll hang around for a while. They're giving their medals and everything to the Honaker Tigers. We'll hope to have maybe Coach Ward or somebody on from the Altavista Colonels. A lot to do, a lot to talk about here in the Subway postgame show. Altavista, third straight state championship, 57-44 over Honaker. Another one for the ages. You heard it all live on 105.5 KD Country.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes in Virginia are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
Brought to you by English Construction Company, with offices in Lynchburg.
Unfortunately, I have some bad news.
How bad is it, Doctor?
We've done all we can. Your heat pump's not gonna make it.
Oh, no.
Honey, it's going to be okay. We'll call Select Air Mechanical and Electrical, 332-2600. With over 60 years experience, they'll have us comfortable again in no time.
I recommend Select Air to all my patients. Call 332-2600 or visit selectairmechanical.com. They can handle all your home comfort needs, and they're an authorized trained dealer. It's hard to stop a train.
Good food, low prices, and great service keep customers coming back for more day after day at El Cazador Mexican Restaurant in Altavista. El Cazador is now open all afternoons, so you can buy anytime, any day, 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, a great place to unwind and relax with friends. Open 7 days a week, Main Street, Altavista. El Cazador thanks you for your business and making them the #1 Mexican restaurant in town.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
Subway Celebration Show is back. You can always celebrate a Colonel win at 3 great Subway locations in Altavista, Main Street, also in the Walmart on the Clarion Road, and then the fantastic new location, Foster Fields, Route 29. Going to bring a real commitment to customer service, to doing it right at that location there in Foster Fields, Oscar. And it's a really convenient location because so many Colonel fans, so many people around Central Virginia. You're up and down 29 in between Lynchburg, Rustburg, Altavista. Great stuff there. Great stuff here today. Colonel's receiving the trophy right now. There's about 24 photographers and people that are trying to snap pictures. Colonel's holding up the 3 fingers. 3 in a row, Oscar.
Well,
3 in a row.
Well, and that's the point I was getting ready to make, Kyle, is we said it coming on the air. 1, you're a great team. 2, you're elite. 3, it's official, and we can say dynasty now and not have any reservations about it. And if you want to make the argument that it's not, then bring it on.
Good point. Absolutely. We'll argue that one all day. You are 100% right there. This is a dynasty. The Colonels, they've obviously had that core 4 intact for a long time, talking about the Big 4. Bob and I call them the Beatles, and that's about right if you're a music fan anyway. We're talking about Juan Thornhill, Michi Malbach, Darius Johnson, and brother Demetrius Johnson. But there's been a lot of other people in there in those 3 years, Oscar, that have made it happen, have made it possible. It truly is dynasty. And I'll let you make the call at the line of scrimmage. You want to recap the game, or you want to talk about the careers of these seniors? Which one you want to do first?
Let's recap the game first.
Let's do it. It started off, it was a Honaker Tiger lead. They stretched it out 9-2 at one point. Coach Mike Cardellaro using a well-placed timeout to settle his guys down and maybe make a few tactical adjustments. Colonels played much better after that. They played much better in the second quarter. It was a 30-24 advantage at half for Altavista, Oscar.
Yeah, tied 14-all coming out of that first quarter, and the Colonels did make adjustments and led 30-24 based on that 16-point quarter that they had in the second quarter. Halftime went third quarter, was pretty even. Colonels had a 6-point lead going out, outscored Honaker 11-10. So, all intents and purposes going into the fourth quarter, the score was 41-34. Honaker very, very much in the ball game. But then, Kyle, what happened in the fourth?
Hard to describe the magic that happened in the fourth. Honaker did have some light, and they had some momentum at times, but Altavista seized every bit of momentum with some seriously good basketball, and then the dunk show began from Juan Thornhill. When he hit the first one, it was pretty much all over. When he hit the second one off the backboard from Malback, Honaker, I think, was done at that point. And how couldn't you be with that kind of amazing stuff?
Yeah, those Juan with three on the night, and Robin Ed had a good game, but he only had 4 points in the third, and he ended up with 8 in the fourth. That's deceptive because 6 of those came very, very late after the game pretty much had been decided, and the Colonels just weren't going to foul. The Colonels' defense, again, is what separated them this year from virtually every team they played.
Excellent point. They turned up the defensive pressure there in the second half, too. They went to their zone some, which they've done all year, but they used the man-to-man some. They got some turnovers where they would kind of jam the rebounder from Honaker when they recovered the basketball. They got some steals out front. I mean, the play where Malback threw the alley-oop lob off the backboard to Thornhill came off of a steal that Michi helped create. Colonels were outstanding on defense all night, and it's crazy when you think back that their defensive effort is so good. So it's crazy to think that they can even turn it up to another level. They're already at level 10, but I guess it's like Spinal Tap. Their amps just go to 11.
It does, and the focus that this team has had all year long, Coach Cardellaro talked about it in the press conference on Monday, the focus that these kids have had, the target that they've had on their back, the pressure that they've had to deal with to try to get back to the point they were today has been tremendous. They've handled it well. I'm going to tell you what, the light was turned out on Monday. Trailing by 10 with 6 minutes left in a game that looked like they had no chance to come back and win. Again, it was defense that set that up and came back, and they came out today, and it was clear that they were focused. Looked a little lackadaisical early during that 9-2 run to open the game. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
But certainly after the timeout, they were recalibrated, refocused, and I don't know what Coach Cardellaro said to them, but they were from that point on they were dialed in, and they were clearly the better ball team on the floor here today.
Yeah, this is the Subway post-game show. We call it the Subway Celebration Show because the Colonels have just grabbed another 1A state championship trophy, more hardware to add to the fingers as well. They win 57-44 over the Honaker Tigers. Want to touch on a couple things that you just said. You talk about the pressure of being number one coming into the game, or coming into the season, perhaps. They've got the target on their back. Some of that pressure, some of those expectations are applied by fans and people in the community and people that you know, but a lot of it was applied by the players themselves.
Well,
they put the pressure on themselves to get back here and win it. And I made the analogy yesterday. You don't climb to the top of the mountain 2 times in a row and then on your third trip say, well, let's just go halfway up this year. If you've done it twice, you want to do it again.
No, I think it's interesting. That's a great point because I certainly think that when you look at the community, you win 2 in a row and you got just about everybody coming back, and then you throw in a kid the caliber of Donovan Montague and the way he's progressed over the season, you got the expectations of the community were, hey, well, it's a given. They're going back to the state championship.
Right. But it's never that easy.
But it is never that easy, and nobody knows that any more than the kids that were on the floor off this team. And I don't think there was ever a doubt with their desire that this is where they belong, and they wanted to put their stamp on their career at Altavista, and they've done it in a way that may be unparalleled, certainly to this point.
Yeah, I agree. It may be matched, but certainly not anybody has put a stamp on anything any better than this. A dynasty for the ages, for sure. And the Colonels, again, they've handled the pressure better than a lot of college and professional athletes can handle those expectations and pressure. Let's take a timeout. We'll collect our thoughts, and then we will talk about the great careers of these seniors. You know, we kind of do this stuff on senior night, but we sort of postponed it because we knew we were going to have some more basketball games. Well, this is it. The Colonels have played their final basketball game of the season, and for the third straight year in a row, they've won their final basketball game of the season. 3 straight state championships. Subway Celebration Show returns in just a moment to 105.5 KD Country.
Virginia's oldest and most experienced bus company, Sunny Merriman Incorporated, along with their employees and families, joined together to congratulate the Altavista High School athletic teams for their outstanding sports seasons. Sunny Merriman wishes you the best in the playoffs and in your quest to bring home more state championship trophies to our community. Go Colonels! Make us proud.
Life happens. Divorce, family problems, criminal charges, civil litigation, personal injury cases. Turn to David W. Shreve, an experienced attorney at law. David W. Shreve has been practicing law for 30-plus years. Free consultation for personal injury cases. Call today, 369-6621. 369-6621. David W. Shreve. Good luck to the Altavista basketball team in the playoffs. Go Colonels. David W. Shreve, located 7th Street, Altavista.
Does it seem that most stores don't care about good service these days? Well, at English's Building Supply, good service is still the king. They greet me with a smile, help me select the highest quality Glidden paint, provide expert color matching, and even carry my paint to the car. They help me get the job done right and make it last. At English's Building Supply, the customer is still king. English's Hardware and Building Supply, North Main Street, Altavista.
Here's more award-winning high school sports with Kyle and Oscar on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway Celebration Show rolls on here from the Siegel Center on the campus of VCU. Great atmosphere for hoops today. I talked about how this was what was right about America. This is what is right about sports worldwide. Great atmosphere in here. The Colonels get their 3rd straight state title. And I mentioned a team that I am becoming quickly a fan of after watching them the other day. The Clintwood Lady Green Wave girls basketball team is trying to win a state championship at the 1A level in their final year of existence. They're going to combine with our friends at Hayside next year. So this would be one of those storybook type of situations. And like I said, I'm rooting for the Green Wave for sure. But let's get it back to the Colonels, and let's get it back to the folks that matter. Like I said, our sponsors. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the support of these people, folks. We can't make it happen. It costs money to run this operation, and it's a lot of time and effort. Again, as I said, and we have a staff that is second to none. The folks at KD Country take a backseat to nobody. That includes my play-by-play partner, Oscar Briggs. I've sent him off on an assignment. That's why you're not hearing his voice right now. He's working on possibly grabbing us an interview guest for the Subway Celebration Show here and getting some stats and some other things as well. But Eleanor Hoehne, her game rose to another level this season. Just when we think it's in peak form, she gets better and better. She's like a fine wine, just gets better with age. Our executive producers, everybody on the staff, from the sales team all the way down. I know Lori Johnson listens to quite a few ball games. She's a local product, and she's got a lot of people in her family that are sports fans, and we really take pride in what we do and take pride in having a fun time doing it. We think we do that, but again, we can't do it without the support of these people. We like to think of them as our starting lineup. El Cazador, a great place for family and friends to dine. I bet you they're eating lunch in El Cazador right now, having a good old time talking about this Colonel win. Way to go, guys. Keep up the good work. English's, your complete home center and your Glidden Paint headquarters. They might have been listening down at English's. Donnie and the gang there, they are huge sports fans and have always bailed us out in a pinch. They built our press box down there at Dan River that one year. David W. Shreve, attorney at law. When life happens, call David W. Shreve. Select Air Mechanical and Electrical, your authorized train dealer. It's hard to stop a train, and as I mentioned, Donnie Bryant and his crew, hard to find many bigger Colonel fans than those guys. Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Services, a family serving families since 1905. Hey, talk about a local product, a family-owned business that is second to none. Finch & Finch, right up there with the best of them. Trey Finch, a state champion with the Colonels back in 04. Altavista Appliance. Come visit them on their new location, 7th Street in Altavista. Mitch Haley and the gang love the Colonels. Feller Chevrolet. I know they were listening down there. Somebody's got to stay home to sell cars. We know Juan Thornhill has a part-time gig over there at Feller Chevrolet when he's not doing everything for the football and basketball teams. He finds a little time to help out over there. His father, an employee, Greg Walker, of course, a very near and dear friend of ours, Josh Walker, state champ with the Colonels. His son, Rick, we're always thinking about Rick. We miss him, and we wish he was still here. Flip, a guy I went to high school with. Great gang down there at Feller Chevrolet. Kay Henderson, Ed Fellers. Ed Fellers, pretty good basketball player in his own right, Oscar. He's got the size for it. We also can't forget about Sonny Merriman, Virginia's premier bus company. English Construction, wishing our high school athletes an exciting and injury-free game. And the First National Bank, focused on provorting. Said so many words here in the last couple days, sometimes you get tongue-tied, Oscar, but the First National Bank is actually focused on providing an extraordinary customer experience. Got to give the guys at First National Bank a try. No fees like those big monster mega banks. Sean Stone, Todd Hall. Love those guys a whole lot. And, of course, your live internet broadcast at kdcountry.com, brought to you by Chris Owen, your All-State agent in Lynchburg. Basketball fans are always in good hands with Chris Owen. Subway Celebration Show rolls on. I know normally we do the sponsors at the end, but we're changing things up just a little bit here. Oscar Briggs has secured the final statistics for us, and
And it was not an easy task, I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah?
No.
You have to elbow your way through the lane there? Did you give him the shoulder, up and under move?
No, apparently it's kind of like the buffet, and whatever's out there, people grab whether they're going to eat it or not.
Okay.
Several guys had 3 or 4 copies, so.
Might want to read it more than once. Never know. Colonels with the 57-44 win. Let's talk about the seniors in just a minute. Let's talk about the stats right now, Mr. Briggs. Malbeck and Robinette, the 2 leading scorers at 20. Fill in the blanks for us. It's some good stat lines here for sure.
Yeah, and first for the Colonels, Michi with 21, with 11. Donovan Montague with 2. We'll talk about that in a minute. Demetrius Johnson with 12. Darius with 6. And Nelson Booz with 6. And we need to mention how big those 6 were.
Yep.
The first one came in the first quarter after that in the second quarter after that slow start, and the other one came in the third. Both of those threes were big by Nelson. Donovan Montague only with 2 points, but defensively he took the brunt of the defense against Robinette tonight and did an outstanding job against that kid. And the other time he was against Harmon. Really took Harmon out of the game. He was not much of a factor tonight.
A different challenge today for the first-year man, Donovan Montague. That's still hard to believe. That's his first year playing basketball on the varsity level. Donovan, as you heard Coach C mention in the Subway pregame show, was out front on the perimeter playing against a guard a lot on Galax. This time, completely different, taking on 6'8" and 6'5". Montague passes the test with flying colors. The Honaker Tigers, they score 44. It was pretty well balanced. Well, I say that. It was at the hands of 4 guys, actually.
Yeah, 4 guys is all that scored. And then Casey Dye had 9. He graduates in a pretty good career for him on both sides for both basketball and football. Hunter Lester, leading scorer for Honaker on Monday with 24, only had 5. They all came in the first quarter. Colonels absolutely took him out of the offensive well. He's a wing player. His favorite shot is down on that baseline, that three-pointer. He didn't get the opportunity to shoot it with the length of the Johnsons and Donovan coming out, running out on him.
Donovan had 3 blocks. One of them was that big one where he swatted away Hunter Lester with the emphasis of a parent scolding a child.
Yeah, Casey Harmon with 10 and then Robinette with 20. Again, 6 of that late in the fourth quarter after the game had been clearly decided.
Tell you some more things from the stat line here. Darius Johnson with 12 boards. That is the 9th time he has had double-digit rebounds this year. So Darius's career, over 500 rebounds in that career, finishes up pretty strong in that category. Montague and Demetrius had 8 rebounds apiece. How about this stat line from Thornhill? 4 rebounds, 11 points, 6 assists, 2 steals. Played 31 minutes. Coach Carlero brought him out about halfway through that final minute of the fourth quarter so he could receive the standing ovation along with the other seniors.
Well, you look at this on paper and you think, you look at the boards and the way that the Colonels were out-rebounded Monday against a smaller team, against a much bigger team today. They out-rebounded Honaker 38-26. That's huge.
Yeah,
and you want to talk about a stat line.
I know where you're
Let's
going.
talk about Michi Malbec.
Give it to me, baby.
20 points, 4 assists, 6 steals. Count them, 6 steals.
Yes. Malbec. It was amazing. He was incredible out there. He turned his game up another notch. He was energetic. He was flying around. He was everywhere. I think the box and one move that Honaker tried to pull, again, I think it was probably the right move on paper, but when you know about Michi's psychology, he says, oh, you're going to pay special attention to me? Well, I'm just going to burn you that much more now. That's kind of the way Michi works, you know.
It's the only way, for those people that are longtime fans of Altavista, the only way I can tell you is the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It was very Vince Myers-esque.
Yeah.
Very much like his pop.
Everywhere.
So,
sideline to sideline, baseline to baseline, didn't matter. Malbec was always there.
Didn't come out of the game until the recognition part with under a minute left. He stayed in the entire ball game and was high energy the entire time.
Subway Celebrations show rolls on. We're going to step aside for another timeout. We'll bring it back. We're going to recognize these seniors. We're going to recognize the other guys on the team. We're going to tell you about this illustrious career that they've had. Fun stuff here today from the Siegel Center. Colonels win the 3rd straight state championship. Your only place to hear high school basketball in the Central Virginia area, night in, night out. 105.5 KD Country.
A short drive will save you money.
In the market for a new Chevrolet? Fellers Chevrolet.
FellersDirect.com.
For a huge selection of new Chevrolets and pre-owned vehicles, it's Fellers Chevrolet.
FellersDirect.com.
FellersDirect.com. Selection. Convenience. Fellers Chevrolet.
Fellers Chevrolet.
Always open and only a click away.
FellersDirect.com.
A short drive will save you money. Fellers Chevrolet in Altavista.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving family since 1905.
Life is full of opportunities to show someone we love them. One such opportunity is the funeral or memorial service. Finch and Finch helps you celebrate the relationships they shared and honors the memory of your loved one.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving family since 1905.
Some people have never tried food at a Mexican restaurant, so we asked Chad Shelton from Shelton's Plumbing and Heating about his experience.
I wasn't so sure what the green stuff was, but they slipped some on my plate one day, and now I won't have a meal without guacamole. Still can't spell it.
At El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, if you have questions, they give you the answers in English. Mexican and American foods, affordable prices, and fast service. Try it today, El Cazador, Main Street, Altavista.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
57-44, the Altavista Colonels grab their 3rd 1A state title in a row. 4th one in basketball in the history of the school. Altavista High School just keeps racking up hardware, Oscar, and things are going to be a little different next year. We mentioned that, the expectations, people have to understand you're not going to have this kind of group every year. But let me be the first to say, Altavista is still going to be pretty good.
That's right. JV team had a stellar record this year and got some experience for some of the other kids. So The cupboard's not totally bare.
No, not at all. And while we're on that subject, let's discuss some guys on this basketball team. We'll just run down the roster here. There's some young men that were brought up off that very successful junior varsity team and got some time in the playoffs here. Tristan Markins is a sophomore. Traquan Farmer is a sophomore who we know and love from the football field. Lawrence Galliard, interesting situation. He came up in the middle of the year, Oscar. His first game was that Spotswood game, and Coach C threw him right into the fire. Lawrence played a solid 10 or 12 minutes in that game, had a block. I think he had a steal. He's active, energetic. He's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Just a freshman. Also off that junior varsity team, you have Devontae Mendez. Daquan Poindexter sort of swung back and forth between both ball clubs this year, the junior varsity and the varsity. He's 6'1", sophomore, fun player to watch. Here's some guys that were coming off the bench for the Altavista Colonels this year. Jordan Witcher, who hit the three at the end of that Middlesex game that just sent everybody berserk, Colonel players included. That was a neat scene. You also have Mateo Malbach, who we know, brother of Michi, and a fantastic player in his own right. Chancellor Mormon, who we know and love. Family listens to a lot of the games. Of course, his sister Addison plays on the girls' squad for Altavista, so they like to go to the girls' games and listen to our games. And Chancellor Mormon is one of those scrappy, defensive-minded guys. He's like a defensive specialist, but he can play too. He's going to become more than a defensive specialist, just a sophomore. You know who else is just a sophomore? Josh McClure. Josh McClure played bukus of minutes this year.
And boy, and what a vital cog he was in this team. Certainly on the boards, got a nice-looking stroke from three-point land. He'll play a prominent role in the Colonels next year.
Yeah, we named him Blue Collar for good reason. He's a hard-working guy. And then let me also say this about Josh McClure as we move on here in the Subway Celebration Show. Colonels with the third straight state title. They get the win over Honaker. Josh McClure is a guy that hasn't really been called on to score a lot, Oscar, but I think he could develop into a real scoring threat, 15-point a game, maybe 20-point a game type of guy. That's just how good Josh McClure is.
Certainly with his work ethic on the boards and the stroke that he has, that's certainly not that's more probable than it is improbable.
Yep. I think we grabbed all the bench players. It's time to recognize our seniors now, correct? Just want to make sure you know my memories. Oh, how can we forget Nelson Dews? The two big three-pointers here tonight, and Nelson Dews, as I mentioned, one of those guys who just grabbed his 5th state championship ring. He was on the team, got called up off the JV squad 2 years ago. Nelson's a junior this year. He won 2 of them in football. Just a fistful of rings for Nelson Dews.
Well,
incredible.
Yeah, he got an opportunity to win 2 more from that perspective.
Excellent point. I like how you phrase that like that. Why stop now? Seniors now for the Altavista Colonels. And this is a special group. Let's start with a very special guy. We had him on for a halftime program at one point. Donovan Montague, number 3, 6'5", senior for the Altavista Colonels. On the football field, he was incredible. Played multiple positions. He played some quarterback. He had Juan Thornhill in front of him, but Donovan Montague can sling the football around the field. And then he started playing just a bruising, rugged linebacker. He played tight end. He can play a receiver spot. And the basketball court, Oscar, it's kind of the same thing. Donnie does it all.
He played early, and it was obvious he was going to be a player. I didn't get to see the first 5 or 6 games. I was doing some other things and wasn't involved. And again, just schedule couldn't line up. And then I called you one day and said, "So what about Donovan?" And you said, "Well, you know what? I think you're going to be surprised." I think by the middle of the season, we were all surprised at how intelligent he played, his knowledge of the game, his nose for where the ball was going to be. He fit right into that other 4 that have been playing together so long. That when it came to spacing and awareness of where each other, all the players were on the court, he fit right in. His work ethic incredible. We knew he was an incredible athlete. Boy, what a huge part he played in Altavista's three-peating.
Love Donovan Montague. Love the kind of guy that he is. You see him after games in the gym, Oscar. He's just going around from person to person. Everybody knows him. He's hugging everybody. He's shaking hands. He's engaging. He's the kind of person, that you could picture running for office one day. or probably even doing what we're doing, or maybe even stepping up to the TV level, because Donnie's just got that kind of personality. He's the kind of guy you like him as soon as you meet him, and you like him as soon as you watch him play. Let's go on now to two other big men. This is kind of a combo play right here, obviously. Darius Johnson and Demetrius Johnson. A lot of people call them the twins. We call them the brothers Johnson. But again, it doesn't matter what you call them. You said their name a lot. Both guys on the ball club for 4 years. If you think back to that first state title, they were kind of coming in off the bench a little bit, and then halfway through the year, the playing time grew and grew as their games grew and grew. We're never going to forget Darius and Demetrius.
No, and, their work ethic is as good as anybody's. Come game time, you knew that you were going to get 100% out of each one of them. And you might give one to hang his head if something went wrong. You might. We've seen some epic discussions between the two brothers Johnson as well. But push come to shove, those kids worked hard, were dominated the back line of the old Dogwood, and really for every team they played against for the last 3 years, the brothers Johnson have been an integral part of this state championship.
Yeah, everybody has seen Darius and Demetrius, and I'll tell you, those battles, their games have been honed and forged, not only playing everybody else, but you can imagine that those were some pretty heated one-on-one scraps that they had in the driveway or at the Y or wherever.
And rarely did you see both of them have a bad game.
Right,
if one of them, come up and only had 4 points, well, guess what? The other one would have 15 or 16, and they're always on the boards. That was never a factor.
Yeah, early in the career, and since we are talking about the careers here, I feel compelled to say this. Earlier in their careers, Oscar, freshman and sophomore years, you remember one would start, the other would come in. Darius would start, Demetrius would sub in for him, vice versa. You always had a twin that you could go to. As their careers rolled on, they just got better and better, and it got to the point where you got to have them both out there at all times because they're just that good. It was a lot of Darius in the low post this year, Demetrius in the high post. And we should also point out that Demetrius Johnson, the shredder out front on defense. I use so many ways to describe it. He's all over you like a wet blanket. He's all over you like a pit bull on a ham hock. He's all over you like an ugly sweater. Demetrius Johnson just shuts you down out there.
Well, and without the effort of Darius on Monday, who had 18, they don't even play today.
Exactly.
So,
yep.
Boy, that's about enough about those kids.
I don't know. I can talk about that all night.
And we will.
I'm just kidding. Subway Celebration Show rolls on, by the way. If you're just joining us, Colonels get the win in the state championship game, 57-44. I'm Kyle Hoehne. He's Oscar Briggs. We know we got a lot of Colonel fans still tuning in and enjoying this long recap that we're doing. If you're a country music fan, sit tight. We got you covered. Just hang tight. It's going to be back. Let's go back to some more seniors now, Oscar. We got two left,
and that's
two very good ones. Yep, that's the backcourt. It's a backcourt that most coaches would kill for. Coach Carolero knows what a special two-man tandem he had out there. Let's start with number one, Michi Malback. What a game today. He put the Colonel. There was a time there. Obviously, it was a team effort, Oscar, but there was a time when Michi put the guys on his back, said, follow me. I got us in this one.
On both ends of the floor. And exclusive of tonight, I want to go back to a couple years ago. Again, you and I have talked about it. I hadn't said anything on the air about it, or I may have, but I'm going to say it again. Late in the season against Dan River, early in the game, less than a minute.
2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago? Michi Malback in the ball game, scrapped for loose ball. Some things were said. Michi comes out and gets a technical. Coach Carolero pulls him, takes him down to the end of the bench. The game continues. Carolero has about a 2-minute conversation with Michi. That's the point that the light turned on for Michi Malback, I think. He started to channel that energy, and from that point on, he's been the ultimate point guard, ultimate teammate. He gives you that swagger. He gives you that confidence. He's a leader through his efforts. Just can't say enough about that kid and his progression, how much heart and drive he has.
Yeah, I've always said it. Michi is an emotional guy. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. He plays with the emotions. And early in his career, it kind of burned him a few times. I think he'd admit that. He would probably be the first to admit that. Since he has honed that and learned to use the emotions to step his game up, incredible stuff. I mean, what a player. Fun guy to talk to. He's always got a smile on his face. And obviously one of those guys that has 5 state championship rings now because he was an integral part of the Colonel football team. Last, certainly not least, the Deuce, the Magic Man, Mr. Everything, Mr. America, Juan Thornhill, headed to the University of Virginia next year on football scholarship with very good reason. Obviously, if you saw him on the gridiron, your jaw was dropped. Today, a perfect example. 3 just bomb dunks that, again, most guys in college can't pull off.
If Tony Bennett saw him today, then saw those 3 plays for sure, plus the 3 that he knocked down, then he's probably dialing Juan up to see if he can, got a little spare time in the late winter and spring. We've talked about where he fits in all-time athletes that come from Altavista, and it's up there. He's up there.
He's way up there. I love the fact that there's such a connection and a similarity with the other Central Virginia guys that have gone to UVA. Talking about Anthony Poindexter and Jaton Evans from JF, Chris Cook from Heritage, and then Vic Hall from Gretna. You think about all those guys and Juan Thornhill, they've all got a lot in common. Amazing athletes. They all played basketball. They all were impact players on offense and defense in both sports. And they all went on to be great players at UVA. I think Juan's headed for the same thing and perhaps even beyond.
And it's not an easy task coming out of Single A and being able to move to Division I. It's just not. It doesn't happen that often. It takes a special athlete to do that. Certainly Juan Thornhill fits that bill.
And another nickname for Juan that we should probably throw out there as well, the one-man dunk contest. He showed it today with 3 of them. He had a couple games this year where he had 4 or 5. I think it's worthy. Run down your list of the favorite Juan Thornhill dunks of all time. I'm actually going to start. I'm actually going to take it back to the first state championship year, 2013. We were up at Spotswood. They were playing Page County in a regional championship game in front of a massively hostile crowd. That was the game that you outkicked your coverage, and Bob Alvis was playing with house money. Inside joke there. And Thornhill took off from about 11 feet away in the middle of the lane, one stride in front of the free throw line, banged it down with the right hand. He had another dunk in that game as well. For me, that was when my jaw first dropped with Juan. That wasn't the first time that he dunked, but that was the first time I saw him do just a superhuman, Superman type of dunk. Today, pick your 3 of those. Those were amazing today, the 3 you had.
The one we've seen off the inbound class, that was, that was your standard 2-hander. Boy, the other 2 are almost in the top 5. The bank off the backboard from Michi, again, an unselfish play. Michi out front. New Juan was doing the trailer. Boy, he put that one through with authority. The other slam that he had as he took off from the right-hand side of the lane, and I didn't think he was anywhere near being able to get that ball around, but he did like almost it was a sidearm windmill and got that thing dunked down, and that was with authority. That was impressive. There have been a couple of alley-oops this year that I recall, certainly one against Middlesex where the ball went up for Michi from, 35 feet, and I'm like, that was the top of the square. He's not getting that one, and I get home and look at it again on the rerun on video, and guess where he was? He was at the top of the square.
Yeah,
those are the ones that stick out in my mind.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. He had the big ones against William Campbell when he scored his 1,000 points. Let's mention that about Juan and Darius. Over 1,000 points in the career. Rare to have 2 guys on the same team do that in the same year. Well, Juan and Darius did it in the same game. Again, Thornhill and all those seniors going to be missed by us. We've gotten spoiled watching them. Nobody's ever going to forget them. Nobody's ever going to forget the team performance here today. 57-44 over the Honaker Tigers. That's just going to about wrap it up for us, although we see the guys trotting out. Maybe we can get a Juan or a Michi or a Donovan or somebody over here.
What about a Chris Owen player of the game?
Let's do Chris Owen player of the game while we do that. I'll go first for the Honaker Tigers. I usually do. I'm going to take the easy way out. I'm going to take the leading scorer, Tanner Robinette, 20-point performance. He's a force. He's just a junior, by the way. We may not have said that enough. He's going to make somebody very happy at the Division I level.
Boy, I'll concur, just to agree, because that's the right call. For the Colonels, for me, it's Michi Malbeck. He got hot early. they boxed and won. That didn't deter him. He took over offensively and defensively, and from then it was on.
It was on. I'll put mine on hold now because we're going to have Juan Thornhill join us, and if I can get Michi to stick around, we'll get Michi to join us here in a second. We'll let Oscar take his headset off. We told you this Subway Celebration show was going to be fun. Number 2, the Deuce, Juan Thornhill, the Magic Man, the one-man dunk contest. Juan, congratulations. I'm not even going to give you the old how do you feel because that's too easy. How did you feel when you rose up there and threw down the two-handed jam when Michi threw it to you off the backboard?
Actually, I saw Michi look back, and he threw it off the backboard, and I was like, this is my opportunity to throw it down. So we went to excite the crowd a little bit, and I threw it down as hard as I could, and then the crowd stood up and applauded.
Yeah, they stood up for real. I mean, I think everybody stood up. You blew the roof off this place. One more question for you, Juan, and then we'll get with Michi. Talk a little bit about these seniors, what these guys mean to you, and the whole team in general. Tell us about this team, because I know it's like family for you.
We grew up playing all types of sports together. We played basketball, football, and we actually won a bunch of championships when we were younger. And it continued as we went up and got older, and here we are today winning another state championship, and we've got 5 on our hand now.
Incredible. I said unbelievable, unforgettable, and unmatched. Would you agree with those 3 words about you guys?
Yes, sir.
Awesome stuff. Juan, thank you. Let's get Michi in here because that man was an animal for a while. This Malback kid, I'll tell you what, folks, incredibly fun to watch. Michi, I saw you after that Middlesex game when you guys scored all the points in the first half, and you and I were just kind of like, wow, what happened? And then you hit the big one against Galax on Monday just to get you guys to this point. I heard you saying, you wanted to initially dump it off to maybe Darius, but then you saw the shot was open, and you just canned it, man. It was incredible. What do you think about this ball club and the rest of these seniors? Talk about what these seniors mean to you.
The seniors, they're really like my brothers, and this ball club is historical. Three state championships in a row, that's just very unreal, and it doesn't happen a lot.
No, it really never happens. Let me ask you, you took your game up to another level there at one point when they put the box and one on you. You were slashing to the rim. You were knifing through their defense. How good did that feel to just really take over a ball game like that?
I just wanted to come out and make plays for my team and get us the victory so we could have 3 state championships in a row and go home to Altavista with a good feeling.
Hey, you've made everybody proud. You've given everybody a good feeling. Last question, I think we're going to have Coach Mike Cardellaro on this Thornhill guy. You threw him the oop off the backboard. That guy's amazing, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
He is fun to watch. Michi, we're going to let you go. Congratulations. Thanks so much. I think we're going to have Coach C on, and we'll take a second to get him over here. You can give the headset back to Oscar there if he'll take it from you. Or are we going to have Coach Chad Ward on? Chad Ward, Mike Cardellaro, who wants to join us here in the Subway postgame show? You got to run? Sorry, live radio here. Chad Ward, you got time? No, he's got to run, folks. All right.
Coach Cardellaro will be joining us here in a few minutes.
He will be joining.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Subway Celebration Show rolls on. Again, apologies to the country music fans out there. We're going to get you back to the real country in just a moment, but we feel compelled, Oscar, to take a little extra time to enjoy this because, like Michi said, like Juan said, it's one of a kind. It's history-making, so we'll deviate from the program log here for just a minute and talk some more about this basketball.
Well, and you said if you're a country music fan, hang on, got more music coming in. We do. But certainly you don't have many chances to have a three-peat, and we're gonna take our time and make sure we talk to all the parties involved. And again, Coach Cardellaro will be joining us here in just a minute.
Perfect.
How fun
Still
was
speechless?
it today? No, I'm not speechless.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I said it in the halftime show. I'll touch on it again. We're so honored and humbled to be able to do this, to get the front row seat, to have this kind of fun, to have the interactions that we have with the team, and just to see the things that a lot of people only talk about. You know, it's the kind of stuff where you're like, wow, did you hear about that one time when so-and-so did this, or when Altavista scored 65 and a half? we get to see it firsthand. It's incredible.
Yeah, and not only that, but the maturation of these young men. As they, you talk about a sophomore, that's a kid.
Right.
You're talking about a 14, 15-year-old kid. These young men, to watch them grow, to watch them mature, to watch them work together to become a team that is capable of winning 3 in a row, that's equally as special.
Right.
The individual things that we get to watch and are amazing, but to watch them grow, to watch them come together as a family and execute and play like they did today, and really all season. How special is that for us? We're just fortunate.
Yeah, all season, all career. And, again, we owe it all to you guys, the fans, and our sponsors. But, the fact that people are listening, the fact that people tell us, yeah, hey, I heard you, even if it's just for a minute or two in and out of your car, that means a lot to us. And we feel proud of the fact that, regular season, we're the only place you can hear basketball around the Central Virginia area at the high school level. And high school basketball is pretty special. Some people can knock it, but I'll tell you what we saw out here today, what we saw here this season, what we've seen their whole careers, that's pretty special. That rivals anything at any level. I promise you of that. You will not see the kind of passion, the kind of emotion, the kind of great, unique stuff that you won't see this stuff anywhere else.
Well, and 2 of the Colonels' losses were to Dan River.
Right.
And the Dan River team filed in behind us.
Who's also playing for a state championship at 1:30, right? And best of luck to the Wildcats going for back-to-back.
Love to see Coach Murphy and Edmonds and that team bring home a state championship to the, quote, Dogwood District, unquote, because we still continue to view that as such.
And a solid point to make, not to cut you off, a solid point to make is how good are Dan River and Altavista because of the fact that they have to battle each other in the regular season. You get into wars like that, whether it's down in Ringgold or up in Altavista, it's going to make you a better ball club down the stretch. I mean, hey, if the Colonels don't have those gritty basketball games and those 2 tough losses to Dan River, maybe they don't beat Galax on Monday.
That's a great point because that's the kind of ball game it was. It was physical, it was grinded out. A little bit more athleticism certainly with that Dan River team than what we saw with Galax, but still. The competition and having to force yourself into a different situation and come away with a win certainly played a factor. The Dan River team certainly played a factor in that.
Subway Celebration Show. Colonels get to win 57-44. If you joined us late, you wonder what's going on. It's another 1A state title in basketball for the Altavista Colonels. It was hard fought. We were tied after 1 quarter. Colonels has a 6-point lead at the half. Really started to pull away there in the 3rd quarter, and about midway through the 4th quarter, the writing was on the wall. All Honaker could do is just kind of gaze into the taillights there of Altavista. They never could catch up. We saw 3 incredible dunks from Juan Thornhill. 2 of them were assisted by Michi Malbeck, and we saw Michi Malbeck absolutely take over the game there at one point with the incredible plays. We saw it all. We saw it all.
On both sides of the floor, not only offensively, but, again, 6 steals for Michi tonight. And it wasn't just Michi. Darius, Demetrius, Juan, all getting out in the passing lanes, deflecting. A total of 11 steals for the Colonels tonight.
Wow.
That's a good number.
That is. That's a good performance defensively. The Colonels have always prided themselves on their defense, and this year, a strange situation. If you're listening to the Subway Celebration Show, if you haven't heard many Colonel games this year, Altavista employed the zone this season. They tinkered with it for a bit at Dan River, put it away for a couple weeks, brought it back here in the playoffs, and they used it a lot more down the stretch. And it's interesting because Coach Mike Cardellaro said, I'll never play a zone again. He hadn't played a zone in about 24 years. He told me in an interview that he did play some zone in his first year at Orange, but he said, I just kind of didn't like it. I think it makes you a little bit lazy. But this year, he'll never say never this year. Coach C bringing out a new wrinkle.
And the first time he sprung it on us was at Dan River. And you and I looked at each other, and I said, and we went to a break, and I said, are they in a zone?
Yeah, I think I tried to say, no, it looks like a zone.
Looks like a zone. They're a matchup man, and no, it was a zone. And then they've certainly used it here in the postseason a little bit more and more. Used it today.
Yeah, used it today, used it effectively.
And they used it effectively against Galax, too. They it was a very aggressive, almost a trapping type zone to help disrupt that three-man weave out top of the key that Galax was employing so well.
And Coach Mike Cartolero, who has won his 4th state championship, by the way, the 1-0-4, the 3 straight here. What does that say about him as a coach, Oscar? It says, hey, he's a man of principle. He has his convictions as far as life and on the basketball court. He said, I'm never going to play zone. But he's also smart. He's also flexible. He knows, hey, sometimes you have to bend a little bit. You have to be flexible if you want to win. That's what the Colonels did this year. I don't know. We could have the argument and sit here and say, well, maybe they didn't need the zone to win. But I think they did. I think it helped them a lot, like you said, Galax especially.
Well, and not only that, but you got into a little bit of foul trouble in the Galax game, and that kind of shields your players from that too. So nice utilization, like you said, and flexibility by Coach Carlero, adapting to doing what you have to do. And in the past, prior to this year, we just said, you need to run a zone. It's not going to happen.
Right.
So good point.
Yeah, he was flexible, and it's hard sometimes because the fans yell things from the stands. Social media, this and that. People saying, play a zone. Well, as a coach, sometimes it's not that easy. It's like in football when you're down by 30, the fans always want you to throw the football. Well, sometimes it's just not that easy. So it wasn't an easy choice for Coach Carlero, but he made the tough one. And we are rambling a bit. We're waiting for Coach Carlero here. He told us he's going to come by. A lot of commitments. A lot of people want to interview him and talk to him, but we'll hang out for just another minute or two. I know the Coach Cartolero fan club in Buena Vista is probably still tuned in waiting. The crew in sunny Orlando, Florida, with Minnie down there. Hello to you guys. I know you're enjoying the weather, as always. Our weather here is getting better, Oscar. I think spring has sprung and old man winter is done for this season. Altavista, they get a 57-44 win over the Honaker Tigers in VHSL 1A state semifinal action. You heard it all live on 105.5 KD Country. And again, we do have to get back to music at some point. But as you said, we want to hang out. We want to enjoy it just a little bit. We're taking in the Clintwood Green Wave versus the Twin Valley Panthers. Oscar, I mentioned Clintwood one more time while you were gone. They're fun to watch, and they're, again, in their last year of existence. So kind of got to pull for the Green Wave a little bit.
Yeah, you do.
Storybook ending.
Point guard just going after a loose ball, dove under one of the press tables. You always love that hustle play.
Well, make no mistake about it, basketball fans. The ladies can play. Do yourself a favor and watch some girls basketball sometime. And that's the great thing about the state championship setup. You see 4 state championship games today, and then they got 2 semifinals tonight at the 3A level. Dan River in action later on. We're not carrying the ball game, but if we have to wait around much longer, we might as well do the play-by-play for that one, Oscar.
It looks like Justin Feldkamp has his claws in Coach Cartolero right now. So,
well, Feldkamp's a good guy. We like him.
Right. We'll defer to him for the time being.
Sure. We don't hold the fact that he's a Reds fan against him. 57-44, the Altavista Colonels win. This is a Subway celebration show. Remember, you can eat fresh, great customer service, fantastic smiling faces. They're going to get your order right at all 3 locations in Altavista. Main Street in Altavista, Clarion Road and Walmart in Altavista, and one that's not exactly in Altavista, just up the road a bit in what is address-wise Rustburg, and the Foster Field's on Route 29, close enough to Altavista, though, for sure. Some Colonel fans are hanging out, taking in the game. Some Honaker fans doing the same. And, again, don't forget about any of our other sponsors. Chris Owen brings you the All-State Player of the Game award, and he brings you your live coverage. So everybody in Orlando, Buena Vista, all the folks that were listening with the TuneIn app in Lynchburg, that's all thanks to your good buddy Chris Owen, who is also on Timberlake Road in Lynchburg. Our other roll call includes English Construction, Sonny Merriman, Feller Chevrolet, Altavista Appliance, Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Services, Select Air Mechanical and Electrical, David W. Shreve, Attorney at Law, English is your complete home center, El Cazador Mexican Grill, and First National Bank, focused on providing an extraordinary customer experience. Let me mention again the KD Country Facebook page. Great way to connect with us and join the conversation. We should do a win with Subway, shouldn't we, Oscar? Let's find out who's listening. The phrase that we need for the win with Subway is three-peat. We're looking for the phase 3-peat. You can even put the numeral 3 and then P-E-A-T or perhaps even P-E-E-T. Don't care how you spell it. Just get it up there. You'll be entered into a chance for a foot-long meal deal courtesy of Subway in Altavista. We may even pick a couple winners today because it's that kind of a day. Phrase we're looking for is 3-peat. And again, if you're a country music fan, you have no idea what's going on, go like the KD Country Facebook page and post that phrase to it. You can win yourself a foot-long meal deal courtesy of Subways in Altavista. I should also mention again the KD Country Reach app, R-E-A-C-H-T. Great chance to join the conversation with us. We ask the question, you give the answers, and a chance to win free stuff on there. Little Caesars Pizza, Moe's Southwest Grill, all kinds of stuff. We had movie tickets we were giving away. A lot of great stuff on the KD Country Reach app. And there's some Colonel questions on there, some sports questions. And yes, folks, the moment you've all been waiting for, well, after the state championship win anyway, we will get to hear from the head coach, Mike Cardallero. I'm glad we waited around. We get to talk to Coach C. We'll keep it somewhat brief, but again, 3-peat, we feel compelled to do this, and we feel compelled to have the big man on the radio here today. Coach Mike Cardallero joining us here on the Subway Celebration Show. Coach C, third one in a row, fourth one overall. It was a tight game at the first quarter. It was a tight game at half. Tell me what was going through your mind, though, in the fourth quarter with about 4 or 5 minutes left when you guys really started to kick it into high gear and pull away. I know you're never completely worry-free. I know you're still thinking about the possibilities, but with about 4 or 5 minutes, you had to feel it there, right?
Yeah, and as a staff, we started feeling that. When we got them, got part of my voice here.
Hey, we understand.
When they went man, we felt comfortable, and Michi was amazing. You know, he beat them off the dribble, and he went at the big guys. He challenged them, and I think a couple of those layups really got him. Obviously, Juan's dunks were unbelievable.
Unreal.
And that takes the life out of someone, but we knew we were going to get their best shot. And Robinette is a great player inside. And we started in a man, and we had to go to a zone to surround him. And I thought our athleticism, even though we were in a zone, really bothered him.
Yeah, let me ask you about the zone, because Oscar and I touched on that, and this is sort of a career thing as much as it is a question about today's game. You were always the guy that said, I'm never going to play zone. I think it makes you lazy, et cetera, and I've always said you're firm. You've got your principles. You've got your things that you believe in as far as basketball and life goes, but you're also flexible, right? You're also smart, I think.
Hey, Coach K went to it.
That's the only reason?
No, that's my bailout, though. That's my answer. I have to have an answer.
Yeah.
Our program wouldn't be where it is today if it wasn't for our man-to-man defense. Right. This year, actually, the Dan River game when we didn't have Demetrius and we had to go down there, we felt like we were really so much smaller than them that we just throw it out there and use it. And it was funny the 2 days before in practice because I said, guys, you know how I am about this. They started laughing. But when we jumped in it at practice, it was amazing how well they played it.
Yeah. And
I couldn't believe it. We played it against Dan River. We lost, but we had a chance. We couldn't make some shots. We out-rebounded them. So we said, we're going to save it. We're going to use this when we need to. And we practiced a lot of it, but hardly ever played it.
Right.
And had to use it. Had to use it today and last week.
Well, and this is the kind of group, with the seniors that you had, the experience, this is the kind of team you can throw a little wrinkle out there, and they can handle it. Back to this group, these 5 seniors, particularly the Big Four. Talk about what those guys mean to you, not just as players, but as human beings, too.
Well, we go way back to Little League with these guys playing. I'm just glad that they were all out here as seniors, to have a chance to achieve the goal. And if you get it, great. If you don't, at least you came out. But, they're really good kids, good young men, I should say. They have maintained such hunger, which is truly a testament to who they are. But they're all in their own way. They have been great. And, funny story this morning, we would get up at 6:30, get them up at 6:30. Took them to Buffalo Wild Wings last night to eat. That's where they wanted to go. Years ago, I would have never done that.
Right.
So we went to Buffalo Wild Wings and had a good time. We got back, tried to go over scouting report, watch tape. Got in bed, and I was concerned about them. They all went to sleep between 10 and 10:30. And this morning I saw the first text from Donnie. I have them all together texting with me. There's another new twist there.
Right.
Donnie shot a first text out at 5:40 this morning. It's time to do it, guys. And
nice.
They started responding,
yeah.
And I didn't respond. I just read. That was special. I looked at that and I said, this has got to happen with these guys like this.
That's neat. That is really neat. 2 more questions with Coach Mike Carlero here on the Subway Celebration Show. First one involves the game itself. They went to that box and won, and they put the one guy on Michi Malback. And I thought back to the Kenny Hunt days where you saw some of that, but you haven't seen much box and one lately. Is that something you guys worked on prior, just in case somebody threw it out there? Was that a fly-by-a-seat-of-your-pants thing for Michi?
No, actually, we've worked a little bit, but yesterday in preparation, we really thought they were going to triangle into us or 2-3 zone. And it came out, well, they didn't come out start off. They come out in the zone.
Right.
And we couldn't hit any early when we were down 8. And I told Michi, Michi gets frustrated about shooting here. And I told him yesterday, you're going to shoot well, and we're going to get to shoot at 9 o'clock in the morning. He said, that's good. I want to get some looks in there beyond the 20-minute warm-up. So he missed a couple early. I looked at him. I said, would you just keep shooting it? And then Nelson was big, too.
Yeah.
Hitting those 2 threes. And sometimes you just got to hit a shot against the zone like that. But then he went box, and we told Michi, don't break his flow, but don't force it too much.
Right.
He was really super today.
Yeah, and then when he started slashing to the basket there, it was surgical precision with the knifing to the hoop.
Yeah.
Final question for you here, Coach Carlero, and it's maybe a little bit of a softball question, but what's next? This team's got some good players coming back. What's next for the Altavista Colonels, and what's next for you?
I'm
not trying to put you on the spot.
You're loading that up
You
big
can
time.
answer it however you want to, Coach C. We know each other well enough at this point.
Our program for years, dating back many years, have always had kids step in and play basketball, and we will next year. But with that being said, okay, probably replacing this 5 seniors will be a tall order. But Altavista has been a great basketball community for over 100 years. Right. So hopefully we'll get back on the floor and be able to compete again. But I don't want to focus too much on that right now.
I know you don't. You like to savor these things. It's interesting. When we talk to you in football season, you totally forgot about last year. But right now you're savoring it. We'll let you go, Coach. I know we had a lot of people listening. Your crew, as usual, in Buena Vista, Orlando, Northern Virginia, and so many former Colonel players were checking in with us, and I know that means as much to you as anything, just the fact that you've made an impact, and Colonel basketball has made an impact on those guys. It's again, you saw them when you won your 500th. It's really neat what you have grown here. I know you said it, and you're right. Altavista has been a great basketball town even before you were here. But, Coach, I got to tell you, I think you stepped it up even another level, and you got to feel good.
Yeah, thank you. It was great to see those kids the other day. That might have been the most fun that I've had is see all those guys and laugh and joke with them.
I don't know. That's got to be up there, too,
Coach. This is just off the floor is what I mean.
I know you do. Unmatched, unbelievable, unforgettable, man. Great stuff, Coach Carlero. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for all the coverage, too.
Absolutely. We'll let Oscar back in here into the cage match one final time, and we'll wrap it up here from the Siegel Center. OB, I just want to get a couple more thoughts, maybe a closing parting shot from you about what we've seen, not just today, but just in the last few years. And you can keep it with just basketball, or you can talk football in there too, and just the community and the Central Virginia area, the way everybody's gotten behind this ball club.
Boy, that's a great point, and you can't just leave it exclusive to basketball. You have to talk about back-to-back in football and back-to-back-to-back in basketball. And during this whole time, over the last 2 years, there's been a big push in the county. Hey, you know what? We need to do some consolidation.
Right.
We need to bring in and have 2 schools, and huge debate about that and what the schools mean to the communities. And during that time, I think that what was achieved on the athletic field and the way the community pulled behind this group of athletes in this school really showed the county commissioners and board of supervisors, whoever, that, hey, these small schools in these small communities are an integral part, and we have to look at it a different way. And that's the way it turned out. I certainly think that, again, that the success of these small schools in athletics has had an influence on that.
I agree. It's sometimes it's not all about money, and maybe if it costs a little more, look at it as an investment and look at that in the long term and see maybe where that helps. I've said pretty much all I need to say. We did 1 million shout-outs. Again, sorry if we missed you. We'll make it up to you somehow. Keep listening to KD Country. For everybody involved with this one, all the players, all the coaches, Eleanor and our executive producers back at home base. I mean, everybody, top to bottom, sponsors, Oscar, Bob, myself. We've enjoyed it. We've loved having you. Come on back next year. Football season will be here before you know it. That's going to wrap it up for us on the Subway Celebration Show from the Siegel Center in VCU. The Altavista Colonels, 57-44. Make sure you go back and listen to this one on YouTube, huh? A state championship run for the ages, a dynasty, a three-peat for the Altavista Colonels. Unmatched, unbelievable, and unforgettable. And you heard every second of the action on 105.5 KD Country.